As we now welcome our listeners around the nation from Victoria, Tasmania, South Australia, the Northern Territory and ABC Sport on the AFL stream. Good to have you with us. The sides lining up beneath us. The Fremantle Dockers and the Western Bulldogs will go downstairs and take the observance ceremony in just a moment. Our experts tonight, quick thoughts, Cara, Antonio and Shane Woden. Welcome to you both. This is always a terrific scene, usually a pretty good game too. Welcome to both.
Yeah, it is, Clint. Love this game on the AFL calendar. Really looking forward to how Fremantle respond, but more importantly, probably how the debutants go. So, love watching Bontempelli live as well, which I can't wait to sit back and have front row or box row seats.
Yeah. He's a great player, isn't he? Good evening, everybody. Looking forward to this. Fremantle do a great job with the Len Hall game, and it's such a special weekend too. So, yeah, two sides at it. Looking forward to seeing how Fremantle really attack the air game with what Western Bulldogs can provide. Obviously, let themselves down last week in that area. Let's see if they can bounce back.
4 changes for the Fremantle Dockers, of course. Chapman and Frederick return. Chapman for the first time this season, and Frederick comes back in as well. Let's head downstairs for the observance ceremony. Your MC will be Mr. Mark Reddings.
Change direction left. Left. Well. Change direction right. Right. Well. Guard. Mark. Time. Guard. Halt. Guard will turn to your left. Left. Turn. Guard. Open order. March. Guard. Right. Dress. Guard. Eyes. Front. Guard. Generous salute. Present. Out. Guard. Attention.
The Australian Football League and the Fremantle Dockers and the Western Bulldogs invite you to join the coaches, players and umpires as we honour the Anzacs and all those people who gave their lives in the service of their country. Our thoughts too are with those currently on active service. If you can, would you now please stand and remove your hats for the Anzac observance. Today is the 27th annual Len Hall tribute game, which is named in honour of Western Australia's last Gallipoli veteran, Len Hall. To join us on this occasion, we welcome Warrant Officer Class 1 Anthony Hogan, RSM, from the 10th Light Horse Regiment, to recite the ode.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age will not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them, lest we forget.
Guard! Generous salute! Present! Arms!
We now ask the Fremantle Dockers and Western Bulldogs, along with our veterans, to stand together on Whadjuk country for the New Zealand National Anthem, sung by Jacob Pahima.
God, generous salute, present, arms.
Atua ona iwi matura ata whakarongona me aruha noa ki arua ko te pai ki a tauto ata whai mana ki tia mai a te aroa. God of nations at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God, defend our freeling. God, Pacific triple star, from the strafes of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God, defend New Zealand.
Thank you, Jacob. Now the Australian National Anthem to be sung by Australian Army Band Perth musician Troy Fleming.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for joy. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you all.
Terrific scene as the players that were standing side by side in two rows beneath us shake hands with the veterans.
God, by D-left, info, left, touch. God, Queen.
Players will break. And there's an enormous cheer around Perth Stadium. Beautifully conducted observance ceremony. A nice touch with Alex Pearce and Nat Fife going out into the middle. Just to shake hands with a couple of the senior veterans there. So too the Fremantle Dockers coach in Justin Longmuir. That's Arthur Leggett, who just a couple of years ago recited the ode here at a Len Hall game. Now 105 years of age. He was part of the march in one of the cars, the Anzac Day march through the Perth streets on Thursday. Part of the 2nd 11th Battalion City of Perth Regiment. Fought against the Italian army in Libya and then was part of, famously, the battle, amongst others, of Tobruk. He's in a wheelchair now. 105, Arthur Leggett, OAM, EM. It's been taken off the ground, but a lovely touch from the Dockers players. And they're preparing themselves now to the right of our broadcast position on the northern wing. They're in the traditional purple uniforms. The Bulldogs in the white away colours, the white shorts, predominantly white top, and the white socks. The Dockers, after 2 very close games, were nothing short of appalling last week against the West Coast Eagles, while the Bulldogs, who were under some pressure themselves, particularly their coach Luke Beveridge, did bounce back and crushed St Kilda. It's hard to draw a line on this game, Shane Woden and Cara Antonio. Two sides who really, on their day, can pretty much beat anyone, and at the same time, when it's not going their way, can be downright awful. What are we expecting tonight?
Yeah, and probably where the Dogs were at before last week, and then they come out and pressed us with that performance too, and like, well, hang on, let's stand up again and see where they're at. They were really impressive, and that's what I'm expecting again from the Western Bulldogs tonight, to be consistent in that part of the game. And I know Libba's a big out, but I think what they've done there is they've added Richards inside as a mid just to be able to give them a little bit of something different, which has been really exceptional too. So Freo, again, on the other hand, they've got to answer a few things. I think Fifey said it in Monday's presses. They got dominated in the skies, which they did, and then post-clearance, so the ability to get to the next contest, ground ball, and win that possession. So a big area of concern that week, but let's see if they can rectify it against the Dogs this week.
Yeah, you're right, Wally. They do need to respond, and the pressure for me, West Coast were fantastic last week, taking nothing away from that, but Fremantle just couldn't match the pressure, and for me that's a mindset thing. I'll be looking the first 5, 6, 10 minutes how they start, and that will be led from the front from Alex Pearce, but the young guns in the guts as well. Fremantle have won the tackle count in rounds 1 to 3. They're ranked number 1, but then post that they're ranked 16th, so they need to start well. They need to win contested ball inside and then be able to break free and give their forwards best opportunity.
Habits coin toss out in the middle. Shannon Tan, a veteran who's served for 11 years, including been sent to Iraq and to Afghanistan. Tossed the coin. Mitch Turner had his eyes on it. What happened, Mitch?
Bulldogs skipper Marcus Bontempelli with the call and the win. The Dogs will kick to the left of our position, which is the Graham Farmer Freeway end. Fremantle to the right.
Late change here too. Akash Vodada was supposed to be with us, but we've dragged Bridget Lacey off the bench to be involved as the other member of our broadcast team. She's downstairs on the boundary. G'day, Bridge.
I can only agree, because it is perfect conditions down here tonight, about 20 degrees, no breeze to speak of, so no excuses for the players out there tonight. The starting benches for both teams: for Fremantle, Chapman, Emmett, Young and Johnson, with the debutant Cooper Simpson, the sub tonight. And for the Western Bulldogs, Darcy, Gallagher, West and Bramble start on the bench. Just repeating, Liberatore a lad out with illness. Caleb Daniel comes into the team for him and starts as the sub.
Sean Darcy in game 100. He stands in the centre circles up against a West Australian now wearing the Bulldogs colours, and someone certainly often linked with the two WA clubs. I speak of Tim English. It's the Dockers and the Dogs. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Let's get it on. Here's Mitch Turner.
Umpire pounds the ball into the turf. Up in the air, underway. Darcy won the tap down to Brayshaw for Fremantle. Gave it to Fife. Then to Darcy, back to Brayshaw. Fife on the end of it. Kick inside 50. Went straight through the hands of Frederick. Couldn't take the mark. Karmas comes in to clean it up. Walters tackles him. It's a stoppage about 40 metres out from Fremantle's goal.
Great entry. First up, straight through the mitts.
Back into the side, Michael Frederick couldn't hold on. Ball up in the ruck. Darcy takes it out. Handballs it to that man, Frederick. He lost it. Bontempelli went without it for the Dogs. Now Banfield's in there for Fremantle. Sarong extracts a handball. Frederick couldn't gather. Treloar on hands and knees for the Bulldogs did. Gave it to McRae. Then to English. Fed the handball to Garcia. Now Karmas backtracks to Bailey Williams. He goes short to McRae. He'll have the ball on the wing. He'll use the runner. Coming past in Bailey Dale. Normally damaging by foot. The kick up towards Norton. He couldn't take it on the first or the second. Fell to Vandermeer. Back to the Dale, who continued his run. The kick inside the forward 50 for the Dogs. Ryan was spoiled. The umpire said illegally. The Dockers will win the ball back through a free kick to Luke Ryan in their defensive 50. Minute played here, Perth Stadium. Round 7, Anzac action.
Bright orange boots on does Ryan and goes through the hands of Chapman, or rather through the hands of player who's just re-signed in Clark, into the right back pocket. It comes now towards Draper beyond defensive 50. Tracy couldn't mark. Fife steals it away. Hand pass to the logo. It comes to Banfield. 1-on-1 inside forward 50. Carlos' front position. Battles against Jackson. Jackson brings the ball to ground. Here's Voss. Hands it off to Jackson. Jackson goes. He liked it a lot too. Leaping into the air to join his teammates in pure celebration. And they'll all get around Patrick Voss as well. Quite rightly, Jackson went to him. The debutant handing it off to the big forward ruck, and he kicks the opening goal of the game. Freo and their fans, they're up and about early at Perth Stadium. They're 1 straight 6. The Bulldogs yet to score. 2 gone in the opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
What I've loved about Josh Tracy this year is his ability to compete and just not get outmarked. You know, just here on the logos. The advantage of Jacko, but he's able to get it to ground and get a second effort going.
And he kept his feet, didn't he? That was the best thing, kept his feet, and then obviously reacted quicker. Voss, rightly so, handled it. Yeah.
First score to Fremantle. It's a goal through Jackson. Ball back in the middle. Darcy tapped it down. Treloar stole it. Gave it to the run of Richards by hand. His kick inside the forward 50 for the Dogs. Norton almost took the mark, couldn't. Lob rove. Handball to Vandermeer, and he can't bend the ball back far enough. Minus score, the Bulldogs first of the night. 1 straight behind. They trail Fremantle. 1 straight 6. 3 minutes played. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Chance there for the Bulldogs. Ace beyond defensive 50 towards the commentary wing. Off hands, it's Bills down to 5. Hand pass back to centre half back. To Brayshaw, to Sarong. Kicks behind Sharp. He has to let it bounce. Eventually can pick it up. And from left half back goes looking for Jackson. Bounced at his bootstraps. Trying to gather. Immediately set upon by Jones. Managed to tap the ball out the side. Getting onto it quickly is Walker, who then stays tackled by McRae over the boundary line. Just shy of centre wing for the Dockers. Southern side of Perth Stadium. Fremantle 1 straight 6. The Bulldogs 1 behind. 3.5 gone in the first.
2 subs again. Cooper Simpson on debut for Fremantle in the number 9. Caleb Daniel, 2016 Premiership player for the Dogs. Ball sauced back in. Sarong took it off the contest. Gave it to Brayshaw. Had to go backwards to Clark. Weaved his way through traffic. Then through Sarong. Back to Brayshaw. Kick inside the 450. Jackson sets himself. Can't take the mark. Thought he was held. Didn't get the free kick. Johannesson was able to rove it. Feed it to Geray. His grubber ball outside the 50 ends up with Sharp. He slips over. He's right on the boundary line. Eventually the ball goes over. Just beyond Fremantle's attacking 50 for a ball in 60 from home.
Good hands by the Dockers at a contest. Look sharp early.
Darcy and English both with the strapping on the knee. Darcy on his left, English on his right. They'll do battle again. English got a hand to it. Straight down to Treloar. He snapped out of traffic. Almost got it to Vandermeer. Ace spilt it away. Then the handball looping over the top. Went straight back to the Dogs. Dale gave it to Johannesson. Then Vandermeer. His kick up the wing in the path of Lobb and Waitman. Who gets there first? Lobb. You hear the boos ring out around Perth Stadium. Gave it to Richards. The kick inside the forward 50's a grubber. Clark tries to track it back for Fremantle under pressure. Now Pearce comes in. He's taken in a tackle. It'll be a ball up, and didn't they go hard at Rory Lobb? They don't forget.
There was the specialty beer made last time, the Fremantle home game, the Lobster Tears. Salty, sour, raspberry concoction. Reckon the win for the Bulldogs tasted better than the beer did.
Would have.
Ball's been taken over the boundary line for a throw-in, deep in the right forward pocket for the Bulldogs. Darcy again. Stand alongside English. Boundary umpire spins it back in. Darcy front position. They both had a touch. Came down here to O'Meara. Hand pass straight to Bontempelli. Kicked around the body. It was touched on the way through. Trying to work it out was Draper. Well, still there to be won. Waitman applies pressure. So too Richards. There's a docker underneath Richards at the moment. He's been taken to ground. Guess would be it's Brayshaw. It is. And he climbs up off the deck. Still a ball up in the right forward pocket for the Bulldogs. Heading to the Farmer Freeway end of Perth Stadium. One down by English, straight to Brayshaw. Got it away towards O'Meara, then to Fife. Sweeping hand pass to Banfield. Beyond defensive 50 at left half back. He'll kick towards the commentary wing. Tracy tries to bring it to ground against Karmas. And he'll get the free kick, will he? Taken over the shoulder. He will. He'd been held in the contest. So on true centre wing, southern side of Perth Stadium, Fremantle have it. They lead by 5 points, 6.5 gone in the first.
The number one man up forward today with no Jai Amos is Tracy. He kicks it into the forward line. Voss couldn't take the mark. It was spoiled away. Giray for the Dogs. Gave it to Johannesson. Back to Giray. Retreats further back to O'Donnell. His kick smothered by Walters. It almost goes out of bounds. Somehow stays in and ends up with Johannesson. Kicks up the wing. Karmas is the spoiler. Down to Fife over Fremantle. Gives it to Sarong. Then Brayshaw, a quick kick inside the forward 50. Frederick couldn't gather. Players diving in from both sides. Eventually, Darcy lays a tackle on Taylor Giray, and the umpire will come in and ball it up 40 metres out directly in front of the Fremantle goal.
Gee, that was close to a throw from Garcia. In amongst all of that from the ruck contest. Punch forward here by the Dockers, but it spills out, and Bontempelli has it and gives it to Dale of the Bulldogs. Kicks towards the southern wing. Dockers had the numbers. Ryan went up, punched it down out after it. Waitman, he loses his footing. Picking it up out of that was Draper. Beautiful hand pass. Gives Fremantle a chance through Aish to go deep inside forward 50. Leaping up. Buku Karmas takes a good mark in the right back pocket. He looks like he might have caught one across the nose for a moment. Freo by 5 points, 8 gone in the first.
Chips it short and wide to Dale Karmas as he collects himself just behind the play. Just a whack to the nose or the face. Looks like he'll be okay as Dale retreats to the defensive goal square. Jones takes the mark, moves it quickly to O'Donnell. Now out to Harms in the bright orange boots. Kicks up the wing for the Bulldogs. Darcy all on his own. The big man a long way from home. Waiting for players to flood ahead of the ball. Now decides to run around and kick towards half forward. Lob from the side. Floats in. Takes the strong mark. It's a little bit of treatment from Alex Pearce as well. It was a good grab by Rory Lobb. The crowd not happy. He's probably just beyond his range here. He's 60 metres out from goal. Decides to set it up to the top of the goal square. English couldn't mark. Waitman overran it. Now the ball bobbles back into English. He's wrapped up at the bottom of the pack. It'll be a ball up just beyond the attacking goal square of the Bulldogs' goal.
It's thrown aloft. Darcy palmed it down for the Dockers. Kick was smothered. Well done, Bontempelli. Comes in the direction again of O'Meara. Tries to work it out. Waitman keeps it in hard up against the boundary. Brayshaw throws it on the boot. Not before it's gone over the boundary line, though. It's a throw-in about 15 metres to the left of the Bulldogs' left-hand behind post. Freo's lead is 5 points. 9 gone, opening turn. Thrown back in. Darcy for the Dockers against Darcy of the Bulldogs. It's Darcy of the Bulldogs who picks it up, and Darcy of the Dockers holds it to him. It's a Darcy-a-thon at the moment. Going to have another ball up, still inside the Bulldogs forward 50. Freo with the only goal of the game so far. Came off the boot of Luke Jackson. 10 gone in the first.
Ball up. This time it's Sean Darcy. Wins the tap down. O'Meara couldn't get it the first time. Went back and grabbed it. His handball, though, dangerous. Waitman tapped it down to English. He feeds it to Johannesson, or Garcia it is. And Garcia is smashed out of bounds by James Aish. It'll be a ball over the boundary line. Ball in. 30 metres around from the Bulldogs' attacking goal. The two Darcys go at it again. This time, neither of them able to get a decisive tap. Garcia for the Dogs overran it. Now Waitman's in there, trying to spin through. Wanted a high tackle. Did he drop his head? The umpire either said he did or didn't see it. There was an arm over the shoulder. It'll be a ball up. Still inside the Dogs' attacking 50. Ball tapped into the path of Sarong. Richards pushed him off it. Now Chapman for the Dockers. He runs into two Bulldogs. Bontempelli and Waitman had him. Another ball up, edging closer and closer to the Bulldogs' goal. Now just a handful of metres away from the goal. English taps it down off hands. Brayshaw knocked it out of the air. Walters came through, was able to stand up in the tackle, feed it to Aishi, kicks it beyond defensive 50. Tracy works his man outside, off the ball. Johannesson happy to see it go out of bounds. Bridget Lacey on the boundary line.
Yeah, interestingly, Heath Chapman came on for his first time in AFL footy in a long time and went straight on to Bontempelli at a forward stoppage.
Great work by Freo there. Held up real well on multiple D50 stoppages.
Spun back in. One down by Darcy of the Bulldogs, but straight to Sarong. Kicks the Dockers towards the commentary wing. Tracy was onto it, lost it, tried to dive forward. Scooped up here. Gallagher on a hand pass away, but intercepted by Emmett. Sweeping hand pass inboard comes to Fife for the Dockers. On the bounce, racing onto it, Sarong to Emmett again. They go inside forward, 50. Walters, it was all there for him. He's missed to the right-hand side. Not having a great run, Michael Walters. The goal was at his mercy from about 35 out, 45-degree angle to the right. 1-1-7 Freo. The Bulldogs one behind, 12 gone in the first.
Long ball up the middle from the kick out, went over the back. Ryan couldn't get a clean fist. Now Johnson comes in for the Dockers. He's tackled.
He had time for one more step.
He did, didn't he?
Sonny then.
Yep.
So threw the hands up. A little apology to Patrick Voss, who had a bit of space on his own. The veteran apologising to the first gamer. English takes it out of the ruck, kicks it towards half forward. Norton takes the mark, 60 from home, looking for a target in the pocket, looking for Waitman. Walker gets in front, knocks it away, can't take the mark, but roved it well. Fed the handball out to its teammate in O'Meara. His clearing kick to Frederick is spilt. The pressure coming from Treloar late. Ball out of bounds. Attacking side of the wing for the Dogs.
That's going to be a good battle tonight. Cody Waitman and Brandon Walker. Good one-on-one there. Win by Walker.
Luke Jackson into the ruck, so too Tim English. Ball sauce back in. Jackson and English go out. The umpire spots a whistle. It's for a hold. Sarong wanted to take off. It's going the way of the Dogs, though. And English will have the free kick.
Tim English just forward of the logo, commentary wing. He'll put it inside, attacking 50 for the Bulldogs. Big pack flies, Norton in front, spilled down to Bontempelli. Hand pass tough for Waitman, still got hands to it. His hand pass intercepted. Aish got there. The Dockers with a clearing kick. They thump it towards the commentary wing, slipping over. That was ugly, and now a chance to try and work it forward again. Pushing the back, they'll play on. But it's coming back, is it? Yes, it is. It was Jones who slipped over.
Holding the ball, they've paid.
I was watching Jones after he slipped over to make sure that he hadn't done an ankle. No, he just lost his footing. In the meantime, Tracy takes the free kick. Works it forward. Garcia intercepted to Richards. Moves it again short. Finds Bontempelli. Bontempelli will put it on the boot. He wants Norton. Norton running towards it. Oh, awkward bounce for him. Stretched out the right hand. Couldn't gather. Walker has it. He slips over. But a hand pass to no one in particular. Clark slips over. Problems with the footing out there at the moment. And then the umpire says it's a high shot taken high through all of that as West. Plays on by hand to Bontempelli. Runs the 50 out. Sends it towards goal. He just misses to the right-hand side. A minor score. My first thought was that maybe an ankle had been done from Jones when they played on, but since that point in time, there's been another four players. Yeah.
It's just parts of the ground where the players fell over inside 50 where it looks a bit
corridor.
Clark plays on from fullback for the Dockers. Kicks it through the middle of the ground. Tracy, strong mark. Wanted to move it quickly. Gave the handball to Sarong. His long handball forward to Jackson. Then gave it to Emmett. Oh, bounced off the tackler. Then delivered to a target. No, misses. Misses the open man in Voss in the forward line. Did so well, Emmett, to ride the bump.
Pinball.
And then missed the open target in the debutant, Patrick Voss, who was all on his own in the pocket. Ball will be tossed back in from the restart. Jackson and Lobb go at it. Ball comes down to Sarong. Thought about kicking it. Decided to give it to Young. His snap around the body. Bounces through. Hayden Young gets his first goal of the season. Fremantle get their second. 2-1-13. They lead the Dogs just two behinds, an 11-point margin. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Mitch Turner here in commentary. Clint Wilden alongside me, our two experts. Former Dockers captain Cara Antonio, Brownlow medalist Shane Woden.
They did it the hard way then, didn't they? Skill error, get a forward 50 stoppage, and just the relationship between Jackson, Sarong, and Sarong's hands are elite inside. Ability to shape the footy out the back to a left footer on the snap. Yeah, good finish.
Great connection, wasn't it? And JL mentioned last week they lacked a little bit of that, so it's good to see that they've hit the scoreboard nice and early from a forward 50 stoppage.
Hasn't been any rain, and yet the surface is causing all sorts of issues. The restart, you can get a clearance away. Jackson flew at it.
Be careful coming into the ball, don't you?
Up against Darcy of the Dogs. Jackson wins it again. Dockers through Fife to Jackson by hand. Now to Brayshaw, back to Jackson. Defensive edge of the centre circles. He sends it to the southern wing. Sharp's first to get there. Hand passes over the top to Young. Has to backtrack. Got a hand pass that missed its target in Draper. Draper forced to go all the way back to left half back and then send it to Walker inside his defensive 50. He's got options on at right half back. Clark's one of them. The ball is kicked in his direction. It bounces. Clark gathers. Hand passes it forward. Now he's an opportunity for Chapman. Nice touch. Lovely pass found Aish. He releases Clark. Runs to the wing commentary side. Kicks inside attacking 50. Boss flew from the side. Punched down there by Brayshaw. Banfield's out after it. Allows Fife to gather. Gave it back to Banfield. Banfield kicks towards goal. He hits the right-hand goalpost. The ever-dangerous Bailey Banfield, but hasn't been able to find the major opening in the last, 4 and a bit quarters. 2-2-14 the Dockers. 2 behinds the Bulldogs. 17 gone in the opening term.
Fife started well tonight. Hands are clean.
9 disposals for Nat Fife already in this first quarter. All came out to the Dogs, able to win it through Bonson-Pally off the pack. Harms gave it to Lobb, as you can tell. The crowd noise, his ball to Harms is delivered perfectly, then up to Norton. Takes the mark right in front of the interchange gates, just below our commentary position. Norton now delivers inside the forward 50, looking for a mark from English, but floating across in his first game of the season. Heath Chapman takes the intercept mark. Was quick to move it on. Gave it to Ryan, but wasn't in much of a better position. Luke Ryan had to eventually just chip it back to Heath Chapman. So a lot done for not much gained by the 2 Dockers defenders there, but Chapman has it. At right half-back, kicks up towards the logo. Pack forms. Darcy punches from behind. Tracy taken without it at ground level. Umpire said play on. Players fly in, scrap for the ball. Fife's in there. Garcia as well for the Dogs.
A free kick.
It'll be a ball up. Josh Tracy never really had the ball and he was thrown to the ground. But no free kick. Ball tossed up. McRae off the stoppage. Hacked it out of the air. Brayshaw going back. Or Clark it is this time. Takes the defensive intercept mark, and Fremantle will start again from right half back. Well, before I hand over to Clint Wheeldon, it's a 50-metre penalty. So the first part of their ball movement made a lot easier. Clark, given the 50-metre penalty, might have been a player in the protected area. He's marched to about 70 out from home.
Was it Bonson-Pally who was lurking by? Clark puts it inside forward 50. Big pack up offhand. Spills down at the back to Karmas. We're going to the left back pocket. Oh, that's a horrendous kick as the Bulldogs try to go beyond their defensive 50. Not what they would have been hoping for at all. It's Harms. He's had an absolute stinker. Not insufficient intent. Just a horrible moment as we have a look at the replay here. It was Bonson-Pally who didn't leave the protected area. The Bulldogs moved the ball by foot towards the commentary wing. Norton lost his footing again. Comes down to Aish. Ugly kick under pressure. Squirts across the ground. Nicely scooped up here by Gallagher. Then it moves it inside forward 50. Taking the mark and strolling in as West. And he thumps it through. The Bulldogs have got there first. Bailey Dale was the player in the middle of the ground who spotted West all on his own, surging towards goal. The kick just had to go in his direction. Was able to be gathered, and the Bulldogs are on the board. 1-2-8 the Bulldogs. The Dockers are 2-2-14. We've just gone into time on in the opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport, on ABC Radio, Sport Digital, streaming on the ABC Listen app. Clint Wheeldon alongside Mitch Turner, our experts. Shane Woden and Cara Antonio.
If it was for Bonson-Pally, I don't like that free kick. He was behind the player on the mark. Had no impact on what was happening, but
it's still that protected zone.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Anyway.
Can't defend that. And unfortunately, James Aish got knocked off the footy at the last moment, forced the error.
Ball back in the middle. The Dogs kick it forward. Darcy went without it. Clark then taken in a tackle. Strong tackle by Riley West. It runs in his blood. But tough football. Kicked a goal a moment ago for the Dogs. They trail by 6. Darcy for the Dockers. Able to tap it down to Johnson. He gave it to Fife. Sarong. And handballs to Brayshaw. Retreating back to H. Still inside defensive 50. Now kicks it up towards the wing. Karmas had front position. Somehow O'Meara ended up coming down with the ball. Umpire says play on. Came off hands. Not even know how he got to the front of the pack there. O'Meara somehow
went to spoil and landed in his lap.
Mark wasn't paid. It'll be a ball up. Ball tapped down English. Took it away from his direct opponent in Darcy. Ball bobbles to Fife. Gives it to Frederick. Now to Sarong. Has a runner inside in Clark. Can't get away from the opponent. Feeds it back to Fife. Now Emmett runs inside 50. Breaks one tackle. Gives it to Matthew Johnson. The short chip kick to Banfield. Plays on. Bends it around the body. Makes the Dogs pay. Fremantle have their third. 3-2-20. They lead the Dogs 1-8. It's a 12-point margin. They get the quick response. The dangerous Bailey Banfield hits the scoreboard again this year. His 7th goal of the season.
Sean Darcy's ability to get the footy to his mids, and then how the mids shape the footy by hands out of stoppage and contest tonight has been very good. First class. And out they go. Clean, one touch. Inside, they test tackle, they embrace the contest really well, and then just been sharp and just great skill. It was very clever by Johnson as well.
If you'd like to get in touch, 0437 774 774. Send us a text. Let us know who you're cheering for, where you're listening, wherever you happen to be around the nation, indeed around the world. That's a shocking bounce, but the umpire says play on. Bucks didn't even get to it. Brayshaw was underneath it. Got it away to Fife. Sweeps the hand pass forward. Here's Sean Darcy for the Dockers. Kicks long inside forward 50. Jackson out to mark. Gets a big pat on the back from Frederick too. He led at that with genuine aggression. Eyes only for the football. Leapt high and dragged it in. He'll have a shot at goal. Better than a 45-degree angle to the right. He'll kick from 45 out.
You mentioned, Fife's been massive. 13 touches, but 12 handballs, and he's been the player, hasn't he? Getting in on the inside to give it to the out. Clearing player, and fantastic grab by Jackson.
Already with one tonight. 5 straight from set shots this season. Luke Jackson's in. We're behind the kick. He's sullied that record. He misses to the left-hand side. A minor score, 3-3-21 Freo, 1-2-8 the Bulldogs. 23 gone in the opening term. James is from Castletown, listening in from the beach at Warura Station with his dog Choco, hoping the Dockers can get up.
Johannesson's short kick to Richards from the restart. Goes wide up beyond defensive 50 to Bailey Williams. Kick up the wing now looking for West. Ryan got back to effect a spoil. Bounce though back to Riley West. Now kicks it inside 50 for the Dogs. Looking for Norton. Pearce is there to punch it away. Norton gathered. Bounced off his own teammate. Dribbles it towards goals and it bounces through. Norton doing it in the air and on the ground. He roved his own ball, snapped it towards goal and was able to beat the Dockers defender there. The Dogs get one back. 2-2-14. They trail Fremantle 3-3-21. A 7-point margin. 25 minutes gone here opening term at Perth Stadium. Bridget Lacey down on the boundary.
Yeah, I've just got a bit of a watch on Josh Draper for Fremantle. He just had a bit of a rub on the boundary and then had a long chat to the docs and the physios. He sat back on the bench now, but we'll keep an eye on him.
Answered right back, the Dogs. Just couldn't quite get that the boundary, Luke Ryan, on that contest, which is unfortunate. And a bit of footwork by Norton.
Just got home.
He wasn't convinced for a moment.
No,
he was following it up. It just got across the line before Clark was able to get a touch on it too. And the restart. Sean Darcy goes up, wins it down for the Dockers. Young tried to get there first, ricocheted away from him. Dale shrugged the tackle of Young, handed it off to Bramble, then to Treloar. Worked it towards Harms. He's at right half back. Goes down the line. Nice mark, English. Running with the flight of the football. Crashed into Walker as he took the mark. Went to ground.
50.
Oh, 50 here as well.
Was it Banfield?
No, it was Walker. He went to stand the mark and then moved and Banfield came to replace him.
It's just a bit of, what's that word? An omni-shambles from the Dockers' defence. And it will bring English within range. He'll start in line with the right hand behind post. He'll kick from 40 out here.
That's what Tim English has to do more often, is just test Darcy on the spread. Hit their logos. Only just come back, Darcy, so big challenge for him.
Here he comes, Tim English. All-Australian last year. 3-4 for the season. Kicks on its way. He liked it the moment it left his boot. He punched the air before it sailed through the big sticks. And it lands amongst the Bulldogs fans at the Farmer Freeway end of Perth Stadium. The Bulldogs are back to within a point. 3-3-21 the Dockers. 3-2-20 the Bulldogs. 26 gone in the opening term. Goodness me, they've hit back.
Just a brain fade there, I think, from Walker. You've got to play every moment. You've got to stay alert, be present, and yeah, costly that one, especially in red time in the first quarter.
There's a good win at half-back by the Dogs. Good contest. Tested tackle, got through it. Got the ball to the outside.
Razor from Rockingham sends us a text. Aaron Norton, Rockingham boy, get a bag, son, he says. Very loyal to the player who came through the Peel Thunder system.
6 goals last week against St Kilda. Probably could have had a couple more as the ball's restarted again in the centre. Jackson was on hands and knees. The ball knocked forward for Fremantle, but Richards gathers it for the Dogs. Gave it to Bramble. His handball out wide to Dale. Runs back into the centre square. His handball was chopped off by Walters for the Dockers. Looping handball over the top for Brayshaw. Now needs to finish it off and does by hitting Fife directly out in front of goal. About 35-40 metres from home. But as always, this will be the test for Nat Fife.
It's good forward craft by Fife. Held space in front of him and ticked back up at the foot to Brayshaw. Fantastic connection. Just needs to go back steady, the flow, and hit the scoreboard here with the major.
He's played every game this season. 1 goal, 2 for Nat Fife. This time he strikes it on his boot. The goal umpire works left, the right of Nat Fife, and that's where it stays, a minus score for Fremantle. 3-4-22 the Dockers, 3-2-20 the Dogs.
Kick in from Johannesen to Bontempelli to Harms, who stands and waits for Bontempelli to run by. And at left half back he receives it and stabs the pass to guess who?
Should have given it to Bont then, they were out.
He didn't, Rory Lobb. Got the booze as well. His kicks towards Norton, couldn't mark it, taps it backwards, tries to gather it again, and then it's taken over the line by Harms for a boundary throw-in.
Gives that handball received. Bont's shoulders out in front. Game in front of him. And he's lacing up someone else in the front half.
Shout out to Connor, who's listening to the game by the campfire in Reefton in Victoria, and says, calm the Dockers. They're up by 2 points at the moment. One down by English, had the more telling tap. Only as far as Sarong, though. Got it to Jackson. Hand pass bounce for Young to gather right up against the boundary. Kicks free out towards right half foot, attacking the football. Jones. He was the third man there. Thumps it across the boundary line for a throw-in. Right half forward, though, for the Fremantle Dockers. 3-4-22 Freo, 3-2-20 the Western Bulldogs. 29 gone in the opening term.
Ball tossed back in, attacking side of the wing for the Dockers. Jackson was able to get rid of English and tap it towards Clark. His handball out in front of Young, turns back onto his left, kicks it inside the forward 55. Got rid of Karmas, couldn't take the mark. Ball ends up in the hands of Bramble for the Dogs. Wheels around, kicks smothered, falls to Brayshaw. He has a fumble. Has to retreat to Clark. He has a fumble too. Eventually gets it on the boot. Inside attacking 50. Karmas can't mark. Fife breaks the tackle. Snaps it on his left. Can't curl it round. It bobbles towards Jones. Has a fumble. Now Tracy has him just beyond the attacking goal square. Crowd wanted ball. It's an ugly patch of footy. Get down to Bridget Lacey soon and just ask what the conditions are like at ground level, because there's players slipping and fumbling all over the place.
You'd think it's rained. It hasn't. I can guarantee it. And they team with a telling tap. Bale's hand pass intercepted. Brayshaw got it. Here's Banfield again. Snapping around the body. Jones. He was back there in the defensive goal square for the Bulldogs, and he takes a good chest mark despite the presence of a number of Dockers around him. And he'll go short towards Johannesson. The Norm Smith medalist from 2016. He marks hard up against the boundary at left full back. Still the Bulldogs trail by 2. Johannesson from left full back, beyond defensive 50. Waitman thought about flying. He went very early. Lobb took the mark, but the umpire says Waitman made an unrealistic attempt and he's hurt. He's down. He's got a real problem. Has immediately called for help. The trainers with him, the doctors come out there.
Broken his arm.
Yep.
Mm.
The way that he landed, Waitman, he did fly, went very early, didn't get really anywhere near it. And the moment he was down, he knew he was in strife.
Same side as that elbow as well, so...
Yeah, it's the arm. He's got the shooting sleeve on.
Doesn't look good.
With the basketball technology, but he's holding that, so not sure whether it's an arm. It's the way you hold it if you've got a problem with your arm or your elbow or your shoulder. Meantime, the Dockers kick it deep into the right forward pocket. Big pack up, and it's punched over the boundary line for a throw-in. He's in real strife here. Bridget Lacey, you're right down there.
Yeah, he's heading straight down to the rooms with the doctor. Keep you updated.
I think it's a break to the left arm from what I could tell from the way he landed. It looked awful.
Ball spun back in. Jackson taps it towards Walters, running out of space. He coughed the handball up to Harms, and then his handball turned over to Johnson, pushed out of bounds at right half forward. He has dislocated that elbow.
Yeah, I thought he had that.
Last year or the year before it was. And he came back on and played the rest of the game and kicked a few goals too. So we'll see what happens with Cody Waitman as the ball once again is spun back in from the boundary. Throw-in ends up in the hands of Bontempelli. He's looking for Treloar, able to get it to him on the bounce. Treloar had to be fancy with it, work it through his legs. Gave the handball off. The clearing kick falls into the arms of Aish. Seconds ticking down. Still time for the Dockers. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Tracy stood tall at the front of the pack. Withstood the oncoming pressure and took the mark. He'll go back, set shot pretty much directly in front. 25 metres out from goal.
It'd be filthy that the Western Bulldogs coaching staff. Contested mark here with James Aish, had to come to ground, and then that one deep in their goal line.
Josh Tracy from directly in front. Siren has sounded. And Tracy has answered the call early. He kicks the goal, his first. Fremantle's fourth. And they'll take an 8-point lead into the first break here. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. The Dockers 4-4-28. The Bulldogs 3-2-20.
And the goal kickers for the Dockers, all individuals, Jackson, Young, Tracy and Banfield. Tracy with the one after the siren to give them an 8-point lead. As Mitch Turner told you, 3 goals to the Bulldogs, all individuals as well. West, Norton and English. The concern, though, for the Bulldogs already having to make a change late with Liberatore out through illness and Caleb Daniel put on as the sub. Will they have to activate him at quarter time? Cody Waitman flying for what would have been a remarkable mark. Got nowhere near it. Actually gave away a free kick, but his left arm as he landed did appear to move in a way it's not supposed to as he made contact with the ground. He knew he was in trouble straight away. We'll see if we can get any more details for you very shortly. Bridget Lacey on the boundary downstairs. Results earlier today, Geelong by 13 over Carlton Cameron with 600 goals. Well done to him. While for Adelaide, a 57-point victory over North Melbourne. Quarter time here at Perth Stadium. It's the Dockers who lead the Dogs by 8 points. Wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, Sport Digital, on the ABC Listen app. This is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Time to steady and pull the trigger.
Get ready to tackle your week with the ABC AFL Daily Podcast. Join me, Catherine Murphy, AFL legend Paul Roos and expert panellists every day to get the latest news, game analysis and insights straight from the field. Tune in to stay ahead of the game and get your daily dose of footy fever. Find the ABC AFL Daily Podcast on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season.
Every day.
match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Tracy couldn't mark. Fife steals it away. Hand pass to the logo. It comes to Banfield. 1-on-1 inside forward 50. Carlos' front position. Battles against Jackson. Jackson brings the ball to ground. Here's Voss. Hands it off to Jackson. Jackson goes. He liked it a lot too. Leaping into the air to join his teammates in pure celebration.
The big toss back in from the restart. Jackson and Lobb go at it. Ball comes down to Sarong. Thought about kicking it. Decided to give it to Young. His snap around the body. Bounces through. Hayden Young gets his first goal of the season. Fremantle get their second.
Nicely scooped up here by Gallagher. Then it moves it inside forward 50. Taking the mark and strolling in as West. And he thumps it through. The Bulldogs have got there first.
Feeds it back to Fife. Now Emmett runs inside 50. Breaks one tackle. Gives it to Matthew Johnson. The short shit kick to Banfield. Plays on. Bends it around the body. Makes the Dogs pay. Fremantle have their third. Now kicks it inside 50 for the Dogs. Looking for Norton. Pearce is there to punch it away. Oh, Norton gathered. Bounce off his own teammate. Dribbles it towards goals and it bounces through. Norton doing it in the air and on the ground. He roved his own ball, snapped it towards goal and was able to beat the Dockers defender there. The Dogs get one back.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
It's Fremantle who lead at quarter time, 4-4-28 to the Bulldogs, 3-2-20. Clint Wilton alongside Mitch Turner. Let's hear the thoughts from our experts, Shane Woden and Cara Antonio on ABC Sport.
I think JL and his coaching staff will be pretty happy with where they are right now at quarter time. I think the profile of the game is the ball's in the front half of Fremantle. They're able to score, I think, 2-2 from 10 front half turnovers, which is really good. So it's living in the front half. Dogs have gone coast to coast a couple of times and been able to score, but win stoppage, I think how they're exiting stoppage too by hand has been a real concern for the Western Bulldogs, and they're getting some good entries inside, but holding field position, winning the contest, and their three main mids, Fife, Brayshaw and Strong, have had a big say on this game, particularly around the ball. A lot of handball, but clean and exit and getting the foot in the front half.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Brayshaw and Sarong, 9 of their 13 clearances just between those two. So, fantastic start. I thought the work rate from the Fremantle mids in particular to exit stoppage and make it to the next contest to support their teammates was fantastic. And they had better balance and shape from last week. They struggled with that aspect of their contest game. Looking good, and the forward connection has started really well. They probably needed to get a little bit more bang for buck. A couple of misses that probably should have gone through, one from Fife especially. So looking forward to this second quarter.
Mitch Turner's got some of the numbers. Mitch?
Some of the important numbers. The total disposals going the way of Fremantle, 115 to 99. The clearance count, Fremantle and the Dogs locked up at 13 apiece. The hit-outs, 18 to 11 the way of Fremantle. The tackle count, 22-14. The Dogs, the inside 50 count, Fremantle's way, 18 to 13. Individuals, Nat 5 has 15 for the Dockers. Andrew Brayshaw, Caleb Sarong, 13 apiece. Bailey Dale, 12 for the Dogs. Marcus Bontempelli, 10. Bridget Lacey downstairs quickly.
Yeah, bad news for Fremantle. Josh Draper subbed out of this game. I mentioned he was chatting with the docs and physios a lot during that first quarter, and they decided not to take the risk. It looked maybe like a sore hamstring, but I'll check that for you. Caleb Daniel hasn't taken his top off yet to be subbed in by the Dogs, so maybe that's a good sign for Waitman, who's still in the rooms.
It's no good for Draper. It's an early sub. We get to see the kid at work.
So the 29 will be out there for the Dockers in this quarter. Sean Darcy won it down for Fremantle. Sarong's out after it, gathers it, and lost his footing. Almost worked for him too, because Bontempelli ran by, allowed him to hand pass it back to Darcy of the Dockers. He kicks into the left forward pocket. Here's Voss. The other debutant couldn't quite gather. Able to pick it up and work it around as Bramble gave it to Karmas, and that's a good kick to Norton, who marks it right half back. The white headband on, as we always see. The long locks being held by it. Kicks towards right half forward. Coming out trying to get there first. A good battle on from Chapman. Couldn't quite gather. It spills out. Young does the tackling. Wraps up Bailey Williams. We'll have ourselves a ball up. Just shy of right half forward for the Bulldogs. Then Darcy against English. English palmed it over his shoulder. Richards got tackled by Sarong, lost it. Sarong gathered. Gave it to Fife. He takes a bounce, goes across half-back. Not sure where to go. Not a great hand pass. Went to Chapman. He ducked the first tackle. His hand pass stolen here by Garcia of the Bulldogs. He runs towards right half forward. Hard up against the boundary. Goes looking for Bontempelli. Great spell came from Walker for the Dockers. Came down to Richards. He tapped it back, and it's been locked in here. Sarong was forced to make a strong tackle on Gallagher. They're going to ball it up just inside the Bulldogs' forward 50.
Sean Darcy, Tim English go head-to-head, down to 5 to Sarong. Seen that a lot already today. The handball, though, knocked down. Garcia for the Dogs. Tried to get it to Bontempelli. Clark stole it, then broke the Bontempelli tackle. But Bontempelli smothers it. Ricochets towards Darcy. Sam Darcy couldn't take clean possession. Ryan snaps it away for the Dockers. Can't clear defensive 50. Coming in now is Gallagher. Can't break the first tackle. Sharp dives on top of him, holding the ball. The Dogs were able to lock it inside their forward 50 for a moment. Jeremy Sharp able to get Harvey Gallagher holding the ball, and now he takes off from halfback and delivers a spearing kick up the line. Finds Caleb Sarong, possession number 17. His kicks towards a dangerous position on the wing. Sean Darcy takes the mark, uses the run of Hayden Young, kicks inside the forward 50. Voss, the debutant, spilts it. Walters had to go back and get it. He gave it to Brayshaw, trying to give it back to the veteran, couldn't. Now he's tackled, coming in for the Bulldogs. Being tackled right on the edge of the square is Liam Jones, a long way from the defensive goal square, on the edge of the centre square, attacking side for Fremantle. As Darcy goes up, taken out of the ruck, he's tackled immediately. The Dogs try to extract it. It comes away of Freo, though. Johnson gives it to Fife, kicks it in the pocket. Karmas rises high and punches it away from Jackson. Out over the boundary for a boundary throw in deep in Fremantle's attacking 50.
It was a shame, wasn't it, Voss? He just at the last minute just relaxed.
Right process, but
yeah,
needed to clunk it.
Got a pat on the back from Tracy as he went back to full forward. Ball thrown in. Another ruck got a telling tap. Comes down here for Sarong. Hands it off to Johnson. Forced to backtrack. Dangerous kick across half back, and he's turned it over. Oh, that was a poor decision. Gallagher marks. He's got it at centre half back. He'll stab it forward. Now to McRae. Just on the defensive edge inside the square for the Western Bulldogs. Comes out to Bramble. Looks to come down the line. Here's Norton again, marking in front of the Bulldogs interchange gates. 8 points is the lead of Fremantle. 3 gone in the second term. Norton kicks towards right half forward. Pearce has done well. Went in front of his opponent, spoiled it down for the Dockers. Came to Walker. A shocking hand pass. Went back behind Pearce. Gave him no chance. Garcia gathers. Pearce tackles him. Ball jars free. Ball's still there to be won. They try to emerge with it here, the Bulldogs. On hands and knees, Williams got a hand pass away. Back towards Garcia. Now to Bramble again. Goes in the lob direction with the kicks. Got 2 to beat. Spoil came from Clark on the side. Down towards Chapman. Got tackled. That should be holding the ball. It is. Wrapped up beautifully by Treloar. He got him. Chapman just took a second too long. Wonderful tackle. Treloar held it into him and the ball jarred free, and he'll have a free kick deep in the right forward pocket. He'll put boots of ball from 47 out.
Jordan Clark looked after him first when he's lost his feet. Came over, third man in, support. Then collected the footy again. Just had to give the first handball to Aishi.
Hasn't played in a long time, Chapman. First game since round 3 last year. Here is Treloar from the right forward pocket. Puts it across the face. Going up to take the mark. Norton not quite. Lost it. The most telling moment. The ball's been locked in just on the left-hand edge of the attacking goal square. We'll ball it up again. Still Freo's lead, 8 points.
Ball tossed up in the Dogs attacking goal square. English taps it down to Sam Darcy, trying to snap it over his head. Ball was smothered. Now Fife goes in. He loses it. Walker for the Dockers picks it up and barrels it straight down the throat of Bailey Dale, who marks 40 metres out directly in front for the Dogs.
That's just pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that too. There's only 2 forwards really ahead of the footy, and a quick kick or a dump kick coming out there of D50 was always going to land in the hands of any Western Bulldog defender.
Just the one goal this season for Bailey Dale as the cheer erupts downstairs for Cooper Simpson coming on in his first game. Bailey Dale, All-Australian in 2021. Strikes the right chord, puts it straight through the middle. The Dogs are back to within 2 points. 4-2-26 the Dogs. They trail Fremantle 4-4-28. 6 minutes played here, second quarter, Perth Stadium. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Yeah, Cody Waitman's night is over with that elbow injury confirmed by the Dogs, and Caleb Daniel is just waiting to come on for the first time tonight. As you mentioned, Cooper Simpson just strode onto the ground for the first time, and it's a confirmed tight hamstring for Josh Draper. So that's the reason Fremantle are down another key defender.
Disappointed with that Freo to get that over the line. Forced that stoppage a bit earlier. Freo fans look forward to seeing Cooper Simpson play. Plays with energy, he's got speed, gets out of contest.
And we're just seeing another replay now of Waitman as he landed. Certainly nasty way to land. The problem with the elbow is the Bulldogs through Richards and then McRae. Kicks inside forward 50. Norton, lovely hand pass, was able to pop it away for a shot on goal that's been registered. Terrific finish from Darcy. They just moved it so slickly from the restart. They went straight up the middle and Darcy was on the end of it to take the shot at goal to give the Bulldogs the lead. 5-2-32 to the Dockers, 4-4-28. 7 minutes gone in the second term. For the first time tonight, the Dogs are in front.
You're right, Clint. Real clean ball movement from the Dogs, and Fremantle defenders looking around and just too much space and time for young Darcy.
He just couldn't win the loose ball. Fremantle, just a surge forward. Good body work by Norton, clean at ground level.
2-1.
A great finish by Darcy.
Hadn't even finished marking Bailey Dale down in my book, and Sam Darcy kicks another one for the Dogs. It's back in the middle. They may go forward again. English feeds it back to Dale, running past. His kick is intercepted by Walker of the Dockers. Wastes no time. Takes off down the wing. Kicks further ahead looking for Voss. Got caught behind. Knocked it away from Duray. Dale gave it to English. Cooper Simpson's first touch. He tried to take on Karmas. He's caught holding the ball. The Dogs take the advantage. Duray gives it to Dale. Chip up the wing is strongly marked by Sam Darcy in front of Chapman.
Keep doing that, Cooper Simpson. Keep driving your legs. Test the tackle. Use your strengths.
Darcy in front of the interchange gate. Sends it towards half forward. Norton fell over. Pearce got to the front. Was paid the mark by the umpire. So the Dockers captain will look to exit defensive 50 again and has a man with a bit of space in Banfield. Was able to take the mark. Roll. Kick towards half forward. Looking for a teammate in Voss. Can't take the mark. Second effort was good. Stood up in the tackle. Gave it to Frederick. Chapman running past. He's caught. Handballs to Banfield. The Dockers looking for an opening. Banfield has to double back. Get onto his left. Kick inside the forward 50. It's spoiled away by the Dogs. And Johannesson now has possession in defensive 50 and he's wrapped up for a ball up 45 from home.
Bulldozer Emmett. You hate to be hit by him.
Doesn't mind hitting blokes either. Very strong attack on the football. English won it down. It came to Treloar. Worked it away to Gallagher. Kicks around the body. Oh, met immediately. It's a strong tackle. Wrapping up. Docker in there. Surely it's going to ball this up. The umpire let that go for a long time, and eventually Chapman will climb up off the deck, wrapped up by Garcia and West in amongst them. 4-point lead to the Bulldogs. It's Darcy. Takes clean possession for the Dockers. Sean Darcy kicks inside forward 50. Tracy tries to stretch. He can't mark it. Dale overran it. Frederick got a hand pass away, but stolen by the Bulldogs. Here's Richards, runs through traffic. Oh, Johannesson wrapped up by that play we spoke of a moment ago in Emmett. Terrific tackle. Took him to ground, but didn't give away a free kick into his back, but nonetheless crunched him. Throw it up, centre half forward for the Dockers. Sean Darcy couldn't get clean touch. Socked forward by Richards, only as far as Aish. Under pressure from Bailey Williams. Hands it off to O'Meara. He'll go to the outer side of the ground. Clark, awkward bouncing footy for him.
Eventually gathers, does Clark. Is able to turn back upfield. Gives it to O'Meara. He shows a clean set of heels to Daniel. Now kicks towards half forward. Looking for Frederick, coming late. Is O'Donnell there to punch it out of bounds. With their ball in just outside right half forward for the Dockers.
More problems for Freo. Walker heading down to the rooms.
See him in the hands of the trainers not too long ago as the ball is tossed back in. English taps it down. Harms is in there, tried to run away from the stoppage, but Sean Darcy had him. Couldn't sneak through with the bright orange boots on James Harms as the ball's now tapped into space. Fife and Richards go head-to-head. They both overrun it. Bontempelli knocks it into space, but straight to Jordan Clark. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Walters flew, and it flew over the backs of Emmett. And the umpire said that Walters impeded in the marking contest. It's a free kick to the Dogs. Taylor Giray takes the free kick, gives it to Bailey Dale. His kick out towards Gallagher wasn't good enough. Couldn't get to him cleanly. Voss forces the turnover. Now gives it to Cooper Simpson. Fancy footwork. Handballs to Brayshaw. The snap towards goal is missing to the left. A couple of the debutants for the Dockers getting involved. Brayshaw only managing a minor score. 4-5-29 the Dockers. 5-2-32 the Bulldogs. 12 minutes played second term.
There's the step.
Johannesson stabs the ball into the left back pocket. So Donald back there for the Bulldogs. Kick long down the line towards the southern wing. Pearce against Norton. Both went up. Minor came down with it. Fife is able to gather. Goes across half forward. Hand pass to Frederick. Gathered it beautifully in the right. Threw it onto the left. Boots! And kicks a goal for Fremantle to give them back the lead. The Dockers back in front by 3 points. 5-5-35 to the Bulldogs. 5-2-32. A huge roar around Perth Stadium. What a contest we've got going now here on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary. Our experts, AFLW All-Australian Cara Antonio, Brownlow medalist Shane Woden.
Fife again involved. His 7th score involvement. Just drags players to him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just use of his hands tonight. He's not just dumping it as a mid. No, he's using his hands, bringing others into the play. This time, Freddie.
Nice on the left.
On the left.
Josh Tracy had his arms out wide, about to give Michael Frederick a spray for not passing the ball, and he turns the outraged arms into celebration when it went through the middle. The Dogs win it back through the middle. Bontempelli gives it to Richards, kicks it inside the forward 50. Norton couldn't mark at the back, spills the way of Vandermeer, snap around the corner towards goal. Is beautifully executed. The Dogs, just like that, answer back and retake the lead. 6-2-38. Fremantle 5-5-35. 14 minutes played second quarter. The Dogs by 3. Bridget Lacey downstairs on the boundary.
Yeah, we saw Brandon Walker head downstairs with the doctors. He's just getting assessed after a head knock. It's not yet a concussion test, I'm told, but certainly a concern for Brandon Walker.
They bounce back straight away. The Western Bulldogs again. They've done that on a couple of occasions tonight. Just again, loose ball. Couldn't quite get the handball to stay in there. Brayshaw.
Within 60 seconds, Shane.
Yeah.
You got a mate called Ryan, Mitch. Saturday Night Footy, he says. An Arnold Palmer drink and Mitch Turner commentating. Life's good. That's from Ryan. 0437 774 774.
Don't know any Ryans who drink Arnold Palmers, but I'll inquire.
Here they go. The Dockers again. They get the clearance this time. Can they hit back? Jackson kicks inside forward 50. Walters takes the mark. 48 out from goal. Will he go himself? He won't. He'll stab it for the lead. Coming out to mark. Here's the opportunity. Strong hands this time from Boss.
Just patience there.
Yeah.
Really good by Walters. Experience. Could have popped it to the hot spot at the top of the square, but just waited for something to come at him. Voss, really nice lead.
He could have had a shot on goal about 12 minutes ago, but it went straight through his hands. Got a pat on the back for his efforts, though. Now an opportunity to kick his first goal in league football on debut. Patrick Voss. Docker has come to celebrate with him. After 2 years on the Bombers list without a game and a best and fairest in the VFL for them, came across, trained with the club. They decided they'd pick him up in the pre-season supplemental drafts. Now he's an AFL player and a goal kicker at the elite level. And just to make it a little bit sweeter, he's put Freo back in front. 6'5", the Dockers. 6'2", 38, 16 gone in the second term. What a moment for the 194-centimetre forward in Patrick Voss.
I was going to say, he's a good size, isn't he?
Big boy.
Is there something
Really
special about Michael Walters passing the ball who debuted in the number 38 for Fremantle?
Yeah. Very good. Very good. He's pumped with that. It's a great story, isn't it? 2 years on the list. Come over, do a pre-season.
Family's here. Voss is hot. Voss the boss. Plenty of signs in the crowd.
Ball back in the middle. Can the Dogs respond straight away again? Richards ran into trouble, doubled back, then kicks it inside the forward 50. Aish going back to the Dockers. The bandana on and the glove on the left hand takes the mark. Chips it wide to Ryan, wearing the bright orange boots. Chips it up the field to Johnson. Wasn't 15, was forced to play on, had to handball back inside defensive 50 to Ryan, who retreats once again to Aish. So James Aish has it, 10 metres from his own goal. Short, dangerous kick into the middle of the 50 to Brayshaw. Disposal 17 coming up. Andrew Brayshaw.
Close down their uncontested marks in the back half, Western Bulldogs. Don't let them build the ball up.
Brayshaw pulls the trigger, kicks it beyond defensive 50. Ball fell to the back of the pack. Walters was able to go and get it. Gave it to Sarong. Looping handball over the top to Jackson. Runs onto the bouncing ball. Then skids it towards Michael Frederick. Has a man on his own over the back. Tracy backing back, takes the mark. And the Dockers get the Dogs over the back. He'll go back with a set shot, 30 metres out, slight angle to the right.
Arm wrestle this second term.
It has been, hasn't it?
Josh Tracy looking to be the first multiple goal kicker today. Only a slight angle. 25 metres out. Let's give the Dockers back-to-back goals. Tracy strikes it sweet. The Dockers get 2 in a row. Tracy has his second of the night. And they extend a little bit of breathing space momentarily. 7-5-47 Fremantle. 6-2-38 the Bulldogs. 18 and a half minutes played second quarter. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Mitch Turner alongside me, Clint Wheeldon, our experts, Brownlow medalist Shane Woewodin, former AFLW All-Australian Cara Antonio.
It's good build-up. Again, good contest on the wing. Nice shape and spread from that. Handball chains, you've spoken about it, Wowie. They've been really clean in those contested situations, and a nice little bounce up to Freddie, got out the back Tracy and finished very sweetly.
Ball back in the middle. Good bounce. English won it down against Darcy. Just fell to ground, locked in there as Bontempelli, or rather McRae had it for a moment, was wrapped up by Young. Both rucks still have a fingernail touch. Spilled down to Fife, who read it beautifully. Throws it on the boot. Kicks inside forward 50. Spilling around Karmas. Hasn't paid the mark, but he got touched on the way through, but he gets pushed into the back, into the ground by Tracy. And he'll have the free kick in the right back pocket. He'll trot back to take his kick. He's in the wars a bit tonight. If you've just joined us, both teams have made their substitutions. Waitman off with what we believe is a dislocated elbow. Caleb Daniel coming on, who is the late change with Liberatore out through illness as the Bulldogs work it to the outer side beautifully. They came through their defensive 50 and announced to McRae. Well, Draper is out due to a hamstring tightness issue. And Simpson, wearing the 29 on debut, is on for the Dockers. They work it forward here. From the hands of Duray. It's on in turn now to Vandermeer. He'll kick it long inside the forward 50. There's a big pack. It went over the back. Norton couldn't take it. Pearce looked to knock it back to Ryan. Gathers in the right back pocket to Banfield. Runs through his defensive 50 and moves it short to Johnson, who'll mark. 7-5-47 the Dockers. 6-2-38 the Bulldogs. 20 gone in the second.
Johnson chips it inboard. A big cheer. It's the debutant Cooper Simpson in the number 29. Takes the mark. Chips it wide. back to Banfield. Fremantle faithful certainly very happy to see the number 29 back on the field. Banfield retreats back to Ryan. The switch kick now out to Pearce at right half back. No one mans the mark. Strolls outside defensive 50, takes a bounce and hits Young. Wants to wheel back on his left. Plays on from the logo on the wing. The kick is pushed as he kicks it. It's a wobbler. English was able to intercept at half back. Gave it to Garcia. Then Giray. Now Daniel. Ends up with McRae. The Dogs through hands. Williams gives it to West. Back on the end of it is Daniel. Kicks towards half forward. Norton under the floating ball. Takes the mark. Chips it further afield. And the mark is taken inside the forward 50 by Bailey Dale. He'll go back. Tight angle about 35, 40 metres out. Hard up against the boundary. Left half forward.
It's a bad turnover by Fremantle. Can't turn it over in that launch zone area. Got bounced straight away.
Bailey Dale already has one tonight. Be a tough kick. We know how skillful he is. Will kick from a side angle, 45 metres out. Leans back on the kick. The goal umpire leans back and watches it sail over his head. Dale has two. The Dogs get one back. 7-2-44 the Dogs. 7-5-47. Fremantle a 3-point margin. 22 minutes played in the second term. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
You just mentioned Cody Waitman subbed out with that elbow injury. He did just wander out to the bench and took his place at the back. He looked in pretty good spirits, so hopeful that elbow injury is not too serious. Still no sign of Brandon Walker for Fremantle, so they've been a couple of defenders down for quite some time now.
How's his form since he's been dropped? Ali Dale. It was nearly 40 on return.
Yeah, 39 or something last week.
Yeah, and tonight too, exceptional. Just the run he provides. It's obviously given him a spark and got to kick up the backside. But yeah, he's been excellent tonight with his overlap and his creativity and again his dangerous leg.
39 and 1 last week.
Yeah.
2 tonight for Bailey Dale.
And 19 already.
A restart. English with more telling tap, but it came down to Sarong. That's a clever hand pass. Bounced it into the ground, allows Young to break free. He takes a bounce, Young. Kicks in the direction of Jackson, who marks. Oh, should have marked it. In the right forward pocket. Should have marked it, Jackson. It somehow spilled away from him and over the boundary line. He was out to it. He tried to mark it on his chest, and the ball just slid through agonisingly for him. He should be having a shot in goal. He's in the goal square as it's thrown back in. English front position. Came to Young. Bounced up, threw a leg at it. Went up in the air, almost up and down in the lift shaft. Underneath it is Johannesson. He's dragged that in, has he? That's certainly what the Dockers are appealing for. Instead, the umpires say no. It's a ball up deep inside Fremantle's forward 50. Heading to the left of our broadcast position. The Farmer Freeway end in this quarter. They lead by 3.
Darcy taps it into space. Sarong tackled by Bontempelli. Was able to get it to Voss. Oh, fended off the player in O'Donnell. Gave it to Jackson. Then to Frederick. The snap is shallow across the face. It's marked on the goal line by Liam Jones, who goes short. To English, the Dogs. Now looking for a target inside their own defensive 50. English goes short again. 20-metre kick. Further up the defensive 50 to Giray. Taylor Giray turned 33 the other day. Been around a long time. Two-time premiership player at Hawthorn before joining the Dogs. Goes short to English again. English now finds McRae right on the paint of defensive 50. McRae's ball out and wide. Finds O'Donnell. Pushes back, plays on, now kicks it up the wing. Looking for Darcy. Had the height advantage over Banfield. Couldn't mark. Was able to get it to ground. Garcia able to work with Williams. The Dogs from centre wing. Kick it towards half forward. Lob breaks free. Can't take the mask. Pearce punches it away. Young did well to rove the ball for Fremantle. They run it out through hands. His handball, though, intercepted by Vandermeer. Gave it off to Johannesson. The speedster runs to 50, sets sail and pulls it left for a behind. The Dogs 7-3-45. Fremantle 7-5-47. 25 minutes played. Second quarter, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Close one in the West. Earlier today, Geelong by 13 over Carlton. Adelaide by 57 over North. So Dockers through Aish into the left back pocket to Chapman. He looks to switch play from the left back pocket to the right. So Pearce was closed down quickly by Bontempelli. The Bulldog couldn't quite get there in time, so Pearce took the mark and then moved it short. This is O'Meara, former Sun, former Hawk.
Had to be shifted back, O'Meara, same as Banfield, with those 2 injuries for Fremantle's defenders.
And he shifts it right back to fullback to Chapman, who then finds Clark, and now he has space to work with. Takes a bounce at left half back, burns away from lob, sweeps the hand pass towards the logo, northern wing. It's with Brayshaw. He kicks long into the left forward pocket, marking Voss. Read it beautifully. Carmus tried to get there, couldn't affect the spoil. And Voss is right up against the boundary line. He looks like he'll be going back to have a shot.
Johnson pointed straight to the goals. Take a big effort. Kick it from 55.
It's a tough block at that one as well.
Has to get one of the boundary riders to just shuffle downstairs. Here he comes, Patrick Voss, looking for a second. He won't, though. He'll set it up towards the top of the goal square. Jackson flew, couldn't mark. At the back. Oh, Sharp tried the remarkable. Looking to soccer it around about chest height through the right boot at it. Couldn't get it to turn enough. Minor score. 3 points, the Dockers lead again. 27 gone in the second.
Ball chip wide to Johannesen to the Dogs. Back to Brambles. Still inside defensive 50. Brambles kick up the middle of the 50 to Carmus. Then Johannesen continued his run. Gets the handball received. Kicks it up the middle looking for a target in Darcy. Umpire didn't pay the mark. Thought he held it long enough. Umpire said no. The Dockers win it back. Aish gives it to Jackson. Horrible handball. Set its ask for Johnson. And the umpire said, it was Emmett in the end. The umpire said the tackle lingered too long. So the Dockers get away with one. Thomas Emmett has the free kick just inside the centre square. Players flooding back now, kicks it towards the hot spot. Jackson flies from in front, can't mark, falls down to Bramble. He's tackled by Walters. Tries to get to his feet. Walters tackles him again. Eventually did well to feed the handball out to English as the kick outside defensive 50. Norton attacks it hard. Ended up running back inside his defensive 50. Richards gave it to Treloar. Clearing kick. Bontempelli v O'Meara. One-on-one. Bontempelli wins it. Gives it to Treloar. Back to Bontempelli on the centre wing logo. Uses his right boot. Kicks it across the other side of the ground to West. Riley West loads up. Kicks to the hot spot. Can't mark Darcy. Ball falls down and Sharp has it for Fremantle.
Sharp has a moment to take an assessment. No one went to him. He thumps it long. 2-on-2 battle. Right half back. The Dockers coming down there. Jones got it away to McRae. Hand passes back to Williams for the Bulldogs. And he'll find Johannesen marking on the logo. Southern wing. Bulldogs kicking to the right of our broadcast position. The city end. Goes on a bit of a run here, Johannesen. Puts boot to ball, kicked high up in the air. It'll go inside their forward 50. Pearce flew, had 2 goes. Couldn't mark. Spilled down to Banfield, to Aish. Dangerous hand pass to Ryan. Gathered and hand passed in one motion. That was slick to Chapman for the Dockers. Hand pass went in front of Johnson. And that'll do us for the first half. To and fro battle out there at Perth Stadium. And the Dockers have the lead at the main break. 7-6-48 to the Bulldogs, 7-3-45. The goal kickers for Fremantle. Tracy's got 2. The others, Jackson, Young, Frederick, Voss and Banfield. While for the Western Bulldogs, a couple to Bailey Dale. And singles to Sam Darcy, to Riley West, Vandermeer, Norton and English. It was an 8-point lead to Fremantle at quarter time. It is a 3-point lead to Fremantle at half time. Results earlier today on ABC Sport. Geelong by 13 over the Blues, who came home strongly. Jeremy Cameron kicking his 600th goal, I should say, in Geelong's 13-point win over Carlton. And in the earlier game in Tasmania, Adelaide far too good for North Melbourne. North now 0-7 as Adelaide won that by 57 points. Right here, right now, it's the Dockers by 48 points. Got the makings of a decent song, that one, I reckon. Shane Wood, Cara Antonio, your thoughts on the first half here at Perth Stadium?
Well, Cara, I just thought that was just an absolute arm wrestle for
wasn't it?
30 minutes of footy.
Yep.
You know, each way with a little bit of momentum for each team going their way. I think the Western Bulldogs kicked 2 or 3 consecutive there at one stage. I think Bailey Dale's been a bit of a headache for Freo off half-back. He's had it 20 times, kicked 2, provided some really good run. But right now, it's up in the air for both teams right now. I really thought Hayden Young did a really good job on Bontempelli in that quarter. Just took him at stoppage. It wasn't a tag as Bontempelli rotated. Hayden Young stayed out there, but just controlled him. He had a big first quarter, Bont, but that was really well done by Hayden Young in that second term. Let him go forward and just quelled the influence of what Bontempelli was doing. They're still on top, I reckon, Fremantle, how I'm reading it right now. I feel like they can break it. But, yeah, been impressive. It's been a good game of footy.
It has, yeah. Complete arm wrestle of different momentum shifts at different points of the first half. And you look at the stats, they're pretty even across the board. They're playing very similar. They want to move the ball in very similar ways, don't they? Chip through, and then once they're out, they break, and it's a handball chain inside forward 50 and try and get your defenders off guard and out the back. But score source is pretty even as well. 4 goals, 3 to Freo from turnover. The Bulldogs have scored the 3 goals, 2 from turnover, and both have scored 3 from stoppage. So it's a complete arm wrestle when you look at the stats as well, and it's exactly what we're witnessing. I thought Sarong, Brayshaw, Fife, we mentioned at quarter time, have been really influential inside. And like you look at the stat line, Fife has had the 22, but 16 of those have been handballs. Sarong 21 and 17 handballs. So a clear directive of the way they want to move the ball from stoppage, because it didn't work last week. They won the clearance count last week against the Eagles, but
you want to be effective coming out, don't you?
Correct, yeah. And they have been. They've been clean. It's been a clear focus throughout the week, and providing forwards more opportunities, that forward connection, which they've lacked since round 3. Seeing it tonight, which has been good.
Absolutely, it certainly has. From their 25 clearance, 20 effective, but only the 5 scoring shots. So they are. But sometimes that's where Fife's game's now at, isn't it? His ability to win it. He's not the big bull that barges through stoppage and contest. His ability to just win first possession, feed his runners, and he's doing it fantastically well tonight. I think he's been impressive out there and been really clean in that role. So I think Jay will be pretty happy.
Yeah,
I would be as a coach. I reckon their contest game is good. Their aerial game is good. They're competing both ends, inside 50, getting it to ground, or marking it in the logos between the arcs. They've been competitive down the line. Their ability to pop and get out to the next line from stoppage and contest has been really good also, post-clearance. So, yeah, a little bit of connection piece going inside just to finish off a couple of times. That last one, they were coming through the middle of the ground. Freddie was right up through the middle. They missed him. They went long instead to Jackson, who bumbled that one across the line. So just taking care of those opportunities. For Freo right now, losing those 2 defenders may hurt them in the back half of the game. So they've obviously shuffled the magnets a little bit. As I said, Banfield's gone back. O'Meara, not a defender, have to go back. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes in the back half of this game.
So let's wrap things up here at half-time before we head towards the news. Before we do that, though, Bridget Lacey is downstairs. Bridge?
Thanks, Clint. Just a quick update on Brandon Walker. He now has had a concussion test, and Fremantle are waiting on that result. So a nervous wait at half-time to see if he passes the test.
All right, we'll keep you across that one. Bridget Lacey downstairs for us here on ABC Sport. Repeating half-time, 7:6:48 Fremantle. The Bulldogs are 7:3:45. Let's pause, though, now and take the latest from the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. Rallies against gender-based violence have taken place in Hobart, Sydney and Adelaide today. 11 more women have died allegedly due to gender-based violence in 2024 compared to this time last year. Yesterday, Western Australian police said they believed a 30-year-old woman whose body was found in the bedroom of a home after a fire may have been murdered. 49-year-old Emma Bates in regional Victoria and 28-year-old Molly Ticehurst in country New South Wales were both allegedly killed by men police believe were known to them early this week. Adelaide protester Penelope Skordos says she wants to see more men taking part in the conversation.
I would like to see men, specifically men, cis heterosexual men especially, really take a stand against violence against women, like really show up for us.
Residents of a suburb in Melbourne's southeast have been left shocked after a man was killed in a drive-by shooting. Danushi Dias has more on this story.
Residents in Hampton Park say they heard multiple loud bangs around midnight. Investigators have sectioned off a crime scene on Bright Avenue, where a 30-year-old man was found with a gunshot wound and died just after 12:30. Police say a Ford Ranger ute was seen being driven away from the area before being spotted in nearby Berwick about 2 hours later. Detectives are also examining a Volkswagen Golf. One neighbour in the area says it's upsetting to see an incident like this happen so close to home.
Sad, I've been living 25 years in this place. I never heard anything like this.
Police are urging anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers.
A pilot and passenger have died after the light plane they were in crashed in eastern Victoria. Police believe it crashed about 1:45 this afternoon at Mount Beauty Airport near Falls Creek. The pair, who are yet to be formally identified, both died at the scene. They were the only people aboard the plane. Another pilot, Tony Retke, says he'll likely be spending the night at the Mount Beauty Airport as flights have been cancelled.
No, I didn't see it happen. I just, there was a bit of a delay me being able to land. Then someone on the ground said that there's been an incident at the end, just come in over the top with a bit of room. And so I did. Now I can't leave.
The Health Ministry in Gaza says nearly 35,000 Palestinians have now died since the war between Hamas and Israel began last October. Ministry officials say nearly 34,388 Palestinians have been killed and 77,437 injured in Israeli military action following the Hamas attack on Israel on October the 7th. They say 32 Palestinians have been killed and 69 wounded in Gaza during the past 24 hours. The Wall Street Journal is reporting US intelligence agencies have determined that Russian President Vladimir Putin probably didn't order opposition politician Alexei Navalny to be killed at an Arctic prison camp in February. The 47-year-old Mr. Navalny was Putin's fiercest domestic critic, and his allies have accused the Russian president of having him murdered, saying they'll provide proof to back their allegation. The Kremlin denies any state involvement. Last month, Putin said he'd been ready to hand Mr. Navalny over to the West in a prisoner exchange, provided he never returned to Russia. And Mr. Navalny's allies said talks had been underway. A new support program for police has been launched to offer disability and aged care. The South Australian Police Association has partnered with disability service provider Lifestyle Plus Group to provide the scheme. Police home care services will become a registered provider under both the NDIS and My Aged Care and offer future employment opportunities for officers leaving the police service. President and CEO of the Police Association, Mark Carroll, says the initiative was established in response to calls for home care support for members and their families.
There is a need for police association members and their families in this space to make sure that we have people that look after them and care about their welfare more than the dollar.
The New South Wales Skills Minister says boosting enrolments in TAFE courses for trades will be essential to building enough homes to offset the shortage of housing. Steve Wine says the government is trying to recruit more teachers and increase the number of full-time staff to train apprentices. He's told ABC Radio Sydney there's no quick fix to the shortage of tradies.
So if we get 240 more qualified brickies, we can get an extra 2,000 three-bedroom houses per year. So it's, there's the numbers are there. We've got to address them. We've got to be boosting that up.
There's a swag of great movies on ABC iView. Bold, beautiful, and uniquely Australian.
Give me a bucket.
There's Mystery Road's Detective Jay Swan in Goldstone.
Things are going to change sooner or later.
Dance, sport, drama in Strictly Ballroom.
I want to dance with you your way.
Tim Winton's novel adapted in Breath. Plus Sisters of War, Looking for Alibrandi, and so many more.
Because that's how life is.
Great Aussie movies. Always free, always entertaining on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Now Fife goes in, he loses it. Walker for the Dockers, picks it up and barrels it straight down the throat of Bailey Dale, who marks 40 metres out directly in front for the Dogs. Bailey Dale, All-Australian in 2021, strikes the right chord, puts it straight through the middle.
The Bulldogs through Richardson and McRae. It's inside forward 50. Norton, lovely hand pass, was able to pop it away for a shot on goal that's been registered. Terrific finish from Darcy. They just moved it so slickly from the restart. They went straight up the middle and Darcy was on the end of it to take the shot at goal to give the Bulldogs the lead. Fife is able to gather, goes across half forward, hand pass to Frederick, gathered it beautifully in the right, threw it onto the left, boots, and kicks the goal for Fremantle to give them back the lead.
Richards kicks it inside the forward 50. Norton couldn't mark at the back, spills the way of Vandermeer, snap around the corner towards goal. Is beautifully executed. The Dogs, just like that, answer back.
Jackson kicks inside forward 50. Walters takes the mark, 48 out from goal. Will he go himself? He won't. He'll stab it to the lead. Coming out to mark. Here's the opportunity. Strong hands this time from Boss. Now an opportunity to kick his first goal in league football on debut. Patrick Boss. Every Docker has come to celebrate with him. After 2 years on the Bombers list without a game and a best and fairest in the VFL for them, came across, trained with the club. Now he's an AFL player and a goal kicker at the elite level.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and on the ABC Listen app.
One of the highlights of the half, that for Patrick Boss. Well done to him, the 20-year-old on debut, getting a goal for the Fremantle Dockers, who lead 7-6-48 to the Bulldogs 7-3-47. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary here for ABC Sport. Our experts, Cara Antonio and Shane Woden. If you'd like to get in touch, our text number 0437 774 774. 0437 774 774. And after the game tonight, you can give us a call as well. 1300 558 222. 1300 558 222. At the conclusion of tonight's game, we'd love to hear from you. Great to have Footy Talk back on the ABC, on ABC Sport. 1300 558 222, the number to call at the conclusion of tonight's game. Couple of texts to go through. A vet who's listening in the country says, "Hi Clint, how do I know which end is the Grain Farmer Freeway end? I can't even tell on television." Well, simple. All the broadcast boxes are on the northern wing. All the main cameras you see, the majority of the game broadcast on is on the northern wing. So when we say the Grain Farmer Freeway to the left of our broadcast position, it's to the left of everyone's broadcast position. So if you're watching at home on television and the camera pans to the left, the goals on the left-hand side, that's the Farmer Freeway, and the goals to the right-hand side are the city end. We know that the internal bowl of the stadium pretty much all looks the same. I can understand that. But yeah, we call the left the Farmer Freeway end. I know other people call it different things, but personally, I think it's great to have a tribute to one of the all-time great West Australian footballers. I know Corbin always likes to describe the Polly Farmer hand pass, the sweeping Polly Farmer hand pass, and it is, the other thing about it is the Farmer Freeway runs along the northern side of the stadium. Then once it gets past the stadium, it actually sweeps around the stadium before it heads out to the east. So I think it's appropriate.
If you're looking at your radio, it's on your left of your dial as well.
That is why we say occasionally, exactly, the old one.
Always to your left.
On your left-hand side. Before we go through a few more, Bridget Lacey, what have you got for us downstairs, Bridge?
Well, it looks like good news for Brandon Walker. He just jogged out with the rest of the team after half-time, so potentially that's a good break for the Fremantle Dockers tonight, who already lost Josh Draper to a tight hammy earlier on.
Hooptown says, "Hey lads and ladies, it's quite comic with all our great technology and abundance of umpires. They still can't decide which balls go clearly out of bounds over a metre. It makes the sport cringeworthy to time at watch alongside with the goal line DRS. Go Doggies." There's always a few of those moments. There was one the other night as well where everyone had a difference of opinion about whether the ball was over the boundary line. We've had that more often than not, actually, throughout the first part of this season. I was up in Sydney when I'll guarantee to you, Langford from Essendon did not mark the ball inside the boundary line. Nonetheless, these things do happen. Bill says Freo's mistakes are really costing them. They are in front by 3 points. Fair comment from Bill. Shane, Cara?
Well, there's been a couple of errors, but yeah, I think any error can be capitalised on by the opposition too. So, done a lot right though. Also, I think Fremantle, and they get playing against a very good team.
Lou says, listening from the balcony over my 2J olive farm. Loving the call. Loving Voss. Go Freo, and a little purple heart. Thank you, Lou. And this is from the Burt Street Barney. G'day, Burt Street Barney. I still reckon the astronaut would make a fantastic centre-half back. What do you reckon? I reckon you leave him where he is with his ability to kick goals.
He's pretty good at what he does.
Yeah, it certainly is. Western Bulldogs are very keen leaving there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Marcus in South Melbourne. G'day, Marcus. The ground looks rock hard on the telly. Is that why they're slipping over? I'm not sure. It's quite odd because there was a period for about 4 minutes when no one could keep their feet, and yet from that time we haven't seen it be an issue at all. It is hard, but it's not. I wouldn't think it's not like concrete, but it is hard out there. But there's been no rain.
No.
So it's not like all of a sudden it's got a little bit slippery underfoot. So, yeah, just one of those weird moments. We had people slipping and sliding for about 2 minutes.
You wouldn't think it's in great condition.
It always plays better than it looks
like.
Yeah.
It plays better than it looks. It looks like a patchwork quilt.
It certainly does.
But when you're out there, if you're actually on ground level, it's not as bad.
But tonight it has been falling apart, which, as I said, it normally looks like it does and it holds up really well. But tonight there's been a number of times the ground has given way.
Bridget Lacey's got some more stuff for us downstairs. Bridge?
I was just going to say, on the surface, I think there's sometimes an issue with night games here, especially if we start the game in daylight and it goes to light. I don't know why, but it tends to be that players slip over more in those sort of conditions. So hopefully smoother sailing in the second half.
Now we're actually into the full nighttime conditions with all the lights on. Both teams in huddles. Mitch Turner's got a couple of numbers before he gets his second half underway for us here on ABC Sport. Mitch?
Total team disposals. Fremantle 211, the Bulldogs 190. The contested possessions 76-65 the way of the Dockers. The tackle count now favouring Fremantle as well, 36-34. The hitouts going Fremantle's way with that duo of Darcy and Jackson, 25-20. The clearances the Dockers' way as well, 25-19. The inside 50s also favouring the home side, 31-25. Individual disposal getters for both sides. Nat Pipe has 22, leads all comers on the ground. Caleb Sarong, 21 for Fremantle. Andrew Brayshaw, 18 for the Dogs. 19 for Bailey Dale, 15 for Ed Richards.
Phil and Nat listening in, hoping the Dogs can get up and about. Thanks, Phil and Nat. And this last one for us as well. Cheers for the great commentary. Can I get a shout out for me and my dog? It's Carly and Molly. We're by the fire with some marshmallows toasting in the Yarra Valley in Victoria. Go Freo. Thanks for getting in touch. 0437 774 774 if you would like to do so as well. We'll read your texts out throughout the game when we get a chance. And after the match, our talkback number, Footy Talkback, back on ABC Sport. 1300 558 222 if you want to write that down. 1300 558 222. Earlier today, the Crows by 57 points as North Melbourne remain without a win. Geelong by 13 points over Carlton as the Cats remain unbeaten. Half-time here at Perth Stadium. It's the Dockers over the Dogs by 3 points. Second half underway. Here's Mitch Turner.
Sean Darcy, Tim English do battle in the middle. Fife, hands on it again. Gave it to Young. Then Sarong, handball back to Clark. Ran into a bit of trouble. Did he take the tackler on? Umpire said no. It was Vandermeer who wrapped him up. Ball up. Attacking side of the centre square for the Dogs. Ball comes down to Fife. He's immediately taken in a Bontempelli tackle. 23 disposals for Nat Fife. Ball tossed back in the air. Coming through McRae. Handballed the wrong way. Walters came through for the Dockers. He was taken in a tackle. Players dive on top of him. Have another ball up, still inside the centre square, slightly favouring the Bulldogs attacking end. English taps it down. Sarong, Sharks up a Fremantle, trying to get the handball to Walters. Eventually was able to paddle it to himself. Share it with Banfield. Now Toy Mira. High up and under, up on the wing. Geray ran under the ball, spilt the mark. Fell though to Treloar. He gave it to Bontempelli. Handball was knocked down by Walters. Tracy gave it back to him. Then to Brayshaw. Now Sarong. Handballs to Young. 65 from home. Kicks it long towards the goal square. Jackson was wrestling with O'Donnell. And the umpire said it was illegal. O'Donnell grabbed him. And the Freo big man will go back and have a chance to kick goal number 2 and get the first goal of the second half of Fremantle.
A couple of big moments from Sonny Walters, works high up the ground. A couple of stats that won't hit the stat board, but fantastic bit of play there from Fremantle.
Spending more time forward with Sean Darcy back in the side for goal number 2. Jackson puts it straight through. The customary fist pump. And the Dockers strike first in the second half. 8-6-54. The Dogs 7-3-45, a 9-point margin. 2 minutes played. Third quarter, Bridget Lacey down on the boundary for us on ABC Sport.
Yeah, Fremantle just defender Brandon Walker starting this second half on the bench, but confirmation he did pass that concussion test, so he's right to go for the second half.
Good news for Brandon Walker. We'll lose 2 defenders and having to fill holes. Interesting on replay. Yeah, you're right, they come forward to defend. You're right there, Cara from Sonny. Playing a bit more energy tonight, isn't he?
He is.
Had a quiet few weeks.
Interesting little celebration between Jackson and Brayshaw after the goal too. Good choreographed. As English wins it down, but Young's out after it. Gathers the Fife. His hand pass bounced off McRae. It allows Bontempelli to gather, but swung around in a tackle and it's gone against him. Free kick going the way of Sarong. That kick had to be precise. It was to Young. Beautiful hand pass to O'Meara, who puts it inside forward. 50 to Brayshaw, who marks. In line with the left-hand goalpost, he marks 48 out.
Great pressure from Sarong. He's having a good game, Sarong. Back to his best. Inside and outside. Use of footy.
Here's Brayshaw from 51 out. He's tried to give it absolutely everything, and in doing so, he's swung it slightly left. A minor score. 8-7-55. The Bulldogs a 7-3-45. The Dockers by 10. 4 gone in the third.
Dale's kick out a low burner finds Giray. Shane Woden, it's not just the eye test he's passing Caleb Sarong. He's had 25 touches and 11 clearances already. Ball up the wing from the Dogs. Intercepted by Jordan Clark. Once again, players flooding back in front of him. Almost every player in the front half for the Dockers. Ball kicked inside the forward 50 now, flying from behind, taking a strong mark was O'Donnell. Was able to take it clean. Play on. Dangerous kick, though, across his own 50. Banfield was there to spoil it away from Gallagher. Had to run back and gather a good kick up the wing, though. Did well to get away from Banfield and find a teammate in Vandermeer. Has the mark. Just backward of centre wing. Rolls. Plays on. Kicks high towards the wing. Ryan punches from behind for Fremantle. Straight down towards Riley West and then takes him in a tackle. Definitely no prior opportunity. A ball up. 70 out from the Dogs attacking goal, broadcast side of the wing.
Freo by 10 points, early stages, third term. English is able to take it away. Got it to McRae, then to Bontempelli. Kicks inside forward 50. Front position was Darcy for the Dogs, couldn't mark. Pearce hand pass was straight into the legs of West, who then gathered it, tried to work it by hand to Norton, surrounded by Dockers. Sockers off the ground. Treloar picks it up, snaps around the body. Misses to the right. It wasn't far away from being a terrific finish. It would have been his first goal of the night. It's a 9-point margin now to Freo. 5 gone in the third. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Ryan to bring the ball back into play for Fremantle. Eventually called to play on. Now kicks it up the wing. Karmas did well against Darcy. Brought it to ground. Daniel was strong. Got it to Richards. The Dogs move it forward again. Giray's short kick to Williams is good. Still a kick and a half from home. Waiting for a target to present is Bailey Williams. Now eventually called to play on. Kicks it deep into the pocket. Looking for a mark. Flying from the side was Darcy. Handball. Ball was punched off hands, I say, and it fell back to Darcy. He tried to claim the mark temporarily, but the umpire wasn't fooled at all. There was a big spoil in there from a Dockers player. Ball will be tossed up. Sean Darcy this time knocks it down, ricochets off players, comes back to the Fremantle ruckman. His opposite Darcy has him, able to get it to Bontempelli, but he is also tackled. No space in there. James Aish has him, so the ball is tossed back up again. Down to McRae. Gave it to Treloar again, this time snapping on the left. He can't bend it back. A minor score to the Dogs. 7-4-46. The Dockers, 8-7-55. 9-point margin, third quarter per stadium.
Went right, went left. Perhaps next time, third time lucky for Treloar as Dockers move it up the corridor to Aish and then on to Brayshaw. Brayshaw decides to go on a run. He'll kick beyond defensive 50 towards the commentary wing. Darcy set himself for it. Williams stood his ground. Darcy won it down. Maybe knocked forward here. Treloar was able to work it on to Bailey Williams with the Bulldogs. Now it comes to Daniel, the substitute. Looks to kick inside forward 50. Can't get enough on it to lob. And Aish dropped into the hole from the side to take the defensive mark in the right back pocket. And he'll steer it short to Sarong, who's about to have disposal 26. And he kicks to the commentary wing.
Kicks up towards Sean Darcy. Got there. English came across and made a lot of contact. The crowd wanted a free kick. Wasn't given. Karmas able to get the gather on the ball. Driven into the turf by Sarong. Big tackle by Caleb Sarong. Just pile drive on Buku Karmas. He's a bit sore getting up. It's a ball up. Kick and a half. The Dogs attacking goal. Sean Darcy doing battle with English. He knocks Williams off the ball and the high tackle has been paid and it's going to Williams. Sean Darcy just got him a little high, a bit over enthusiastic. Bailey Williams the free kick. Short one to McRae. Paid the mark, turns around and delivers onto the chest of English. We go back and have a set shot. 45-50 out. It's fairly tight angle to the left.
High pressure. Couple of minutes, wasn't it?
Been good that Western Bulldogs just locked in their front half for the last 5. A heap of pressure back on the Fremantle. Push forward English.
Already has one tonight. We're right behind the kick. English sinks the slipper into the boot, pulls it. Always going to the left on that occasion. Never really looked like going through. Another minor score to the Dogs, 7-6-48. The Western Bulldogs, 8-7-55. The Fremantle Dockers, it's a 7-point margin. 8.5 played in the third quarter here, ABC Sport.
3 behinds to start the quarter and the half for the Bulldogs. As the kick from Ryan heads towards the commentary wing. Tracy got it down. It came to Fife. Then to Young, and he's run down. And that's holding the ball. Garcia's got him. Did well enough to tackle him, but not land on his back. Wrapped him up at left half forward for the Bulldogs. And just took a moment too many. As Garcia moves it out to Joe Hammerson, marking it left half forward. Too far out himself, probably 70 from goal. It's a very congested forward 50. He'll kick inboard. They come from everywhere. Spills off hands. Daniel Rose tapped it down to Bontempelli, threw it on the boot. It was missing anyway, but Ryan made absolutely sure of it. Diving across to his right to get a fingertip on it and rush it through for a minor score. 4 behinds now to start the term for the Bulldogs. They trail by 6 points, 9.5 gone in the third. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary.
Ryan's kicking was short to Chapman, and Chapman quickly onto Aish, who chips further through the middle of the defensive 50 to Brayshaw. Continued his run. Aish was able to get it back. Now kicks towards the wing. Jackson was able to get inside O'Donnell. Couldn't take the mark, but gathered. Gave it to Walters. Had company in Bramble. Has to snap it up the wing. Coming through strongly as Jones for the Dogs. Takes the intercept mark. Moves it quickly. Gave it to Bontempelli. Then Garcia. Ends up in the hands of Bramble. Sells a little bit of candy. Kicks inside the forward 50. Darcy. Takes the mark for the Dogs. Will go back. 45-degree angle to the right. Will kick from about 30 metres out.
It's looked dangerous the last couple of contests. Young Darcy, great bit of body work.
See if Luke Jackson lost some teeth in that contest. I think he's okay.
Already has one tonight. 9 goals, 5 for the season. The father-son selection comes in. Kicks truly. They may be small in number, but the Dogs cheer squad behind the goal go up in voice. Sam Darcy has his second goal. Scores are level. 8-7-55 apiece, 11 minutes played. Mitch Turner here alongside Clint Wheeldon on ABC Sport. Our experts, Cara Antonio and Shane Woden.
Yeah, just another turnover between the arcs. As Luke Jackson looking after his teeth. It looks like he's cut his lip. Yeah, another turnover. Just that handball from Brayshaw, which puts Ace under pressure, then a high ball in, and Western Bulldogs able to win the ball back and then go back off turnover. Great mark by Jones. Yeah, a little bit undersized at the moment. Darcy on Chapman.
We've had our first bias text of the season, everyone, which is tremendous. Big g'day to whoever you are from Coffin Bay in SA. Disgraceful how biased you all are. Okay, good on you. Here we go with the Dockers looking to move it forward, and they can't do so. Trying to get in the way then, and well done in the end from Gallagher, but he lost it. Came out again towards the Dockers through Walker, who's on the ground, and now to Sharp towards left half forward to Jackson. Well tackled. Wrapped up, holding the ball. Jones got him. And he'll have the free kick at right half back for the Bulldogs.
It's been good, Jones. Only 5 touches, but little 1%ers.
Kicks in the middle of the ground. They all fight. Oh, Sam Darcy landed awkwardly. He's okay, though. Unlike Waitman, who had to be subbed off earlier on, as Young gets the clearance away, heads to the outer side of the ground. There is a new player, the debutant, and Simpson heads towards left half forward. The Dockers now go towards full forward. Tracy! Oh, that's a great mark. So the two debutants combined, Simpson to Voss, who pumped it long towards full forward, and Tracy marks right in front of goal.
It's a big part of his game he's improved, isn't it? The ability to win aerial contests. Here's his strength.
Tracy trots in. And 45,000 or thereabouts show their celebrations. Tracy with 3 goals now. The Dockers, they're back in front. Their lead is 6 points. 9-7-61 to the Bulldogs, 8-7-55. 14 minutes gone here in the third term. ABC Sport. Julia and Brian are listening in from Italy. Listening from the broadcast. Go the Dockers, they both say. And Cam and Helen the same. They're overseas in Edinburgh, in Scotland, listening in here on ABC Sport. Oh, just as there's a bit of bagpipe action in the background.
Just out of position, the Bulldogs defenders. Tracy was by himself in the goal square for quite a bit of time. Just needed to get it to him, and nice bit of body work.
Jackson and Tracy on Karmas, really. Bit of a mismatch again too, so saw the advantage there from Voss.
Jackson in the middle of the ground, tapped it down, 5 came through, couldn't take possession. Lobb's handball was stolen by Brayshaw, gave it back to his former skipper in 5, kicks it inside the forward 50. Voss couldn't take possession. Well done, O'Donnell. Gave it to Jones, caught by Frederick. Did well to get a handball to Richards. His clearing kick, though, falls into the arms of Hayden Young for the Dockers. Gives it to Ace, spears it inside the forward 50. Brayshaw can't mark. The umpire says he was impeded on by Ed Richards. High contact it was. The ball doesn't go straight back to Brayshaw. The fans want 50. So too did Nat Fyfe. There is no penalty given. Brayshaw plays on. Handballs to Jordan Clark. Lets loose. And loose it is away to the left. A minor score. 9-8-62 the Dockers. 8-7-55. A 7-point margin favouring the home side. 15 minutes played in the third.
Bulldogs look to move it quickly beyond their defensive 50. Comes in the direction of Williams, and he marks right up against the boundary line. The Bulldogs do here. Williams trots inboard, throws it on the right boot, kicks high and long towards left half forward. Jackson attacked it, so too did Pearce. Also in there with Darcy. It comes here for the Bulldogs. Norton. Hand pass for Bontempelli to run onto. He runs into the left forward pocket and kicks across the face of goal. Wastes it completely. It's out of bounds. Sharp was nearby and turned as if for a moment as to say, was that deliberate? No chance of that. He'll be thrown in instead. Right forward pocket for the Bulldogs. 9-8-62 Freo. 8-7-55 the Dogs. Will be spun back in. Right full forward for the Western Bulldogs. Jackson touched it down. Richards knocked it forward. Bontempelli hard up against the boundary. Broke one tackle. Couldn't get away from a second. Was well wrapped up there. Tackling him over the line was O'Meara. His hand pass went along the boundary line and then spun across for another throw-in. Sarong has been absolutely dominant. He's on the bench right now. He's got 26 touches, but so too does Nat Fyfe. With 21 for the Bulldogs. Lob does the ruck work. Jackson palmed it down. Got it to Fyfe for the Dockers. Then to O'Meara. Kicks beyond defensive 50. Karmas and Frederick are happy to watch it over the line for a throw-in. Left half back for Fremantle. Repeating results earlier today. Wins for Geelong over Carlton and Adelaide over North Melbourne on ABC Sport, on ABC Radio, Sport Digital, and of course, as always, streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Right now, a 7-point margin to the Dockers. Ball's tossed back in. Umpire spots a free kick from the ruck contest. Both ruckmen try to claim it, but it goes the way of Rory Lobb. The boos, if anything, are getting louder as the game goes on. Lobb now kicks it inside the attacking 50, looking for a target at the front. Darcy again climbs high and takes the mark. Terrific grab from the young man. He'll go back for goal number 3.
Causing a couple of headaches, isn't he?
He is.
Sometimes just got to get it in there. Get to your tools. Not sure with the matchup. He's come from the side, unopposed really in that contest. Had a free run at it.
I mentioned earlier, a terrific season he's having. The son of a gun to make it 3 goals on the night. The set shot is on the way and away to the right. So no major here for him. Still has 2 on the night. That one's a minor score. 8-8-56 the Dogs. 9-8-62 the Dockers.
Dockers move it short up the corridor. The hands of Clark. Go beyond defensive 50. Very high kick. And it's just short of the logo. Sean Darcy got hands to it, came to Tracy, looked to just shovel it forward. It's going to be locked in here. No chance of Bailey Dale getting rid of that. He'll throw it back to the umpire. On the logo, Northern Wing. It's put aloft. Tracy for the Dockers, won it down and bounced away of Johnson. Hands it off to Brayshaw. From centre wing, he'll chip and find a teammate in Emmett, who's able to outpoint his opponent. Dale stands on the mark. Emmett has it for the Dockers. He pauses to allow the flood forward. The inboard kick comes to Ace, just in front of the logo. Hands it off now to Ryan. Ryan will thump it long. Looks to kick inside forward 50. Jones went. So too Tracy. Neither could mark. Comes out the side. Williams looked to shovel it forward. West with a clearing kick beyond defensive 50. Bounce for Ace. Tackled by Norton. Just got the hand pass away. O'Meara forced to backtrack by a hand. His Chapman stepped away from Norton. Puts the Dockers back inside attacking 50. The home fans like that. Tracy Fluke couldn't mark. Spilled down to Daniel. Shared it around with O'Donnell. Back to Daniel. Oh, turns it over. Banfield knocked it down. Gathered it himself. Went looking for Frederick. Couldn't mark. Carlos was there. He dropped it. Fyfe gathers, snaps and goals. Nat Fyfe had a chance from a set shot earlier tonight. Couldn't convert, and now with the snap, kicks truly. The Dockers have got their 10th. They're 10-8-68. The Bulldogs are 8-8-56. Fremantle's lead is 12 points as we head to time on in the third term on ABC Sport. Bridget Lacey is on the boundary.
Yeah, Luke Jackson belatedly came to the bench and had that bloodied lip dealt with by the doctors, so he's good to go. And the noise then when Nat Fyfe kicked that goal, I think that's as loud as they've been all night, and I think they know probably the ex-skipper needed that one.
Yes, he's been good, Bridge. Push forward. Great contest. It'll win the ball back. And their front half's been excellent.
7th goal from turnover as well.
28 disposals and a goal for Nat Fyfe. Probably the best game I've seen him play for quite some time.
Absolutely.
The dual Brownlow medalist, the ball back in the middle, tapped down into the path of Caleb Sarong. Talk about good nights. He's racking up as well. His kick was a grubber to Emmett. Couldn't take possession. McRae was able to knock it to Harms for the Dogs. Kicks it towards half forward, but going back in front position, taking the intercept mark is Alex Pearce.
Great work by Chapman just to anchor Lob and keep him away from that contest.
The Dockers playing one key defender down after losing Josh Draper, subbed out with a hamstring injury earlier. Ball up to the wing. Brayshaw did the roving, gave it to Emmett, takes the bounce as he runs towards the attacking 50. Now kicks it into the pocket. Voss was waiting there, but Jones, as he often does, was able to cut across and just punch the ball, slamming it into the LED signage. It'll be tossed back in, 35 metres around from the Dogs' goal. Or Dockers' goal.
Spun in again. One down by Tracy. Got it to Sarong. Oh, Johnson had opened up for him. He had chance to put boot to ball, but he steers it left. A minor score. 10-9-69, the Dockers. 8-8-56, the Bulldogs. 22 gone in the third term.
Ball comes out to Duray from the kick out. Plays on quickly. Almost smothered off the boot by Emmett. Kick comes up the wing. Off hands. Fife again. Able to bury himself in. Handball though to Pearce was cut off. Garcia did well. Got it to Harms. Sells a little bit of candy on Chapman. Now kicks it inside the forward 50. Looking for a target. Gallagher pushed sharp out of it, and the umpire saw it the same way. Just panicked a little, Harvey Gallagher, and the ball will go back to Jeremy Sharp for a free kick.
Although not high in disposal tonight, Jeremy Sharp, the role he plays and the ability to cover the ground on that wing out there has been exceptional.
Just the 6 disposals for Jeremy Sharp. That'll be number 7 as he goes short to Aish. This will be disposal 24 for the former Lion, former Pie. Goes back wide to Jordan Clark. Kicks just beyond defensive 50. Finds the lead of the hard-running Hayden Young, who marks it at left half back. The Dockers lead by 13 points. 23 minutes played. Kick back inside defensive 50 to Chapman. Now moving it back beyond the arc to Pearce. His kick to the wing wasn't strong enough to get to Johnson, and Sam Darcy was good enough and quick enough to chop back in front and take the intercept mark. Now he kicks it inside the forward 50. Chapman flies over the top of Harms, can't mark. Dives back in on it now is Chapman. He's taken in a tackle by McRae. It'll be balled up 40 metres out of the Dogs' attacking goal.
Throwing up again. Darcy palmed it down. Came to Sarong. Kicked around the body. Awkward bounce for the Bulldogs here. Ray thought he would get to it, instead coming the other way. It was taken in by Voss, couldn't control it, and Daniel sees it across the boundary line. Graham's had another go at us. He was our Coffin Bay texter, saying, can we show some more excitement? Graham, one team scores a goal and 45,000 cheer, the other scores and 100 people cheer. Got to talk over the top of them, Graham. Free kick spotted here. Comes to Hayden Young. But sure, believe whatever you like. Here's Young. Plays on by hand to Johnson. Goes on a bit of a run. At least you gave us your name this time. Johnson comes towards the commentary wing. Kick towards right half forward. Jones did well. Went up and won it down for the Bulldogs. To Daniel. And he shares it with O'Donnell, who moves it short to Harms. Now to Treloar. Back to Harms again. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Nice pass too. He found Johannesson. Runs behind Tracy. Goes through the centre circles. Kicks towards right half forward. Waiting for it. Vandermeer. Looks to mark and then play on quickly. Sends it towards the top of the goal square. Stretching Bontempelli. That's a fine grab. Surrounded by Dockers. Bontempelli, the skipper, drags it in.
Yeah, took Young where Young doesn't want to go. Took him deep. And Vandermeer got outside 50, rolled inside, saw the advantage. Saw Bont at the top of the goal square.
20 disposals tonight. He needs one for his team. He comes in, and that has, I'm certain, missed. They're going to send it upstairs here. Has it clipped the post on the way through?
Cheer squad didn't go up.
Umpire says no, it's hit the post. Sorry, Graham, I can't get up for that at all. That's just a shocking miss from an unbelievably talented player.
Yeah. It's missed the wrong side.
Actually, it's clipped the post on the onside, so I don't even know why they're checking this. This will go upstairs and say, yes, it's hit the goalpost, but on the other side, so it's a behind anyway.
Bizarre.
That's a terrible miss from an unbelievably talented player. And he was kicking to where the let's say the 200 Bulldog supporters in the crowd actually were. And they couldn't just draw it in with a sharp intake of breath. 10-9-69, the Dockers. 8-9-57, the Bulldogs. 26 gone in the third.
Oh, Ryan from the restart. Fife flew hard, couldn't take the mark. Falls the way of Bramble. His kick smothered the Dogs. Back inside, attacking 50. West gives it to Garcia. Kicks on goal. He hits the right up. Right. The right bit of woodwork. This time it does smash into the post. It's a minus score to the Dogs again. 8-10-58. They trail Fremantle 10-9-69. I'm confident in saying that was probably up there with the worst skill error of Marcus Bontempelli's career.
Oh, I would have backed him to kick that blindfolded. The kick is towards the commentary wing. It's spilling down off hands. Banfield was there. Gives it to Young. Got a kick away. Beautiful 1-2. Found Fife. Just forward of the centre circles. Gets told where to go, and that's long inside forward 50. Walters flew a little bit early. Umpire, I reckon, spotted that. He has. Before acceptances, it'll be a free kick to go the way of English. He was up a long way, marking infringement, the official term. Putting his hands in the back as well, I reckon, Walters, as the kick comes from Dale, beyond defensive 50 towards left half back.
Just needed someone to come at Fife.
I was about
then
to say that.
connect.
They were all backleading, weren't they?
Yeah, wasn't the right option.
Here's Bailey Williams with it. Takes a couple of steps inboard, then kicks towards left half forward.
Kicks it up the wing. Pearce got front position for the Dockers. Couldn't take the mark. It spilt out the back to Chapman. Gave it to Sarong. Continued running and gave it back to Chapman. Now a handball over the top to Brayshaw. His kick looking for Emmett. Well read by Dale. Takes the intercept mark. Nat Fife, 30 disposals for the first time since his 200th game back in round 17, 2021. And he's still got a quarter and a bit to go of football as Johannesson receives it from Dale. Now goes back out wide to Caleb Daniel. Takes the mark right next to the Anzac Day round logo. Now plays on Caleb Daniel. Kicks it up the wing with the left foot. Pearce and Lobb both went to ground. It ricocheted off their bodies anyway. Fell to Garcia. Was able to get it to English. Now Sam Darcy gives it to Harms. The run of Treloar, the left foot kick on goal, was under pressure. And it slid off the side of the boot and rolled out of bounds. It'll be a throw in. 15 metres around from the Dogs' goal.
I reckon that's hit Pearce on the melon.
Just a few seconds remaining. Plenty of time, though, for the Dogs to get a score from this stoppage. Ball tossed back in. The two Darcys go at it. Falls the way of Brandon Walker for the Dockers. Gives it to Young. Tries to clear defensive 50. Emmett was able to spoil it away from Dale. Was picked up by Bailey Williams, though. Gave it to Caleb Daniel. He gives it to Treloar. Kick inside the 50. And again, marking is Sam Darcy.
Had a great quarter, hasn't he?
Hard to defend. He's full stretch.
Sam Darcy's fourth mark inside the forward 50. He's got a kick from maybe a slightly better angle than the Bontempelli set shot, a little further out. 45-degree angle, about 20 metres out. Siren has sounded for three-quarter time to cut the margin back to 5 points for the Dogs. For goal number 3, Sam Darcy comes in and delivers. And now the Bulldogs faithful can go up with strength. And all the Dog players come to Darcy. He kicks the goal. The margin back to 5 points. The Dogs 9-10-64. The Dockers 10-9-69. Three-quarter time here, Perth Stadium. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
And what a contest we've got for you wherever you're listening. The Fremantle Dockers led by 8 points at quarter time. By 3 at half time. They lead by 5 at three-quarter time. For the Dockers, the goal kicking, it looks like this. Tracy's got 3, Jackson with 2, Fife, Young, Frederick, Voss and Banfield all with a goal. For the Bulldogs, Darcy has 3, Dale with 2, and West, Vandermeer, Norton and English, the other goal kickers for them. Both teams have had to activate their subs. Corey Waitman out, subbed in very early in the second term after an injury to his arm. Looked like a dislocated elbow in the first quarter. So Caleb Daniel on for them. Fremantle having to make a change early as well. Josh Draper out with hamstring tightness. Cooper Simpson wearing the number 29 for the first time There's been a 29 out there in the purple for 2,799 days. Cooper Simpson, the sub, is on debut. Love to hear from you wherever you happen to be listening, whether you think we're biased or not. 0437 774 774. It's Freo by 5 points with a quarter to come. This is Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Time to steady and pull the trigger.
Get ready to tackle your week with the ABC AFL Daily Podcast. Join me, Catherine Murphy, AFL legend Paul Roos and expert panellists every day to get the latest news, game analysis and insights straight from the field. Tune in to stay ahead of the game and get your daily dose of footy fever. Find the ABC AFL Daily Podcast on the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Tracy gave it back to him. Then to Brayshaw. Now Sarong handballs to Young. 65 from home. Kicks it long towards the goal square. Jackson was wrestling with O'Donnell. And the umpire said it was illegal. O'Donnell grabbed him. And the Freo big man will go back and have a chance to kick goal number 2. Spending more time forward with Sean Darcy back in the side for goal number 2. Jackson puts it straight through. The customary fist pump, and the Dockers strike first in the second half. Gave it to Bontempelli, then Garcia, ends up in the hands of Bramble, sells a little bit of candy, kicks inside the forward 50. Darcy takes the mark for the Dogs. Will go back. 45-degree angle to the right, will kick from about 30 metres out. Father-son selection comes in. Kicks truly. They may be small in number, but the Dogs cheer squad behind the goal go up in voice.
The Dockers now go towards full forward. Tracy! Oh, that's a great mark. So the two debutants combined, Simpson to Voss, who pumped it long towards full forward, and Tracy marks right in front of goal. Tracy trots in, and 45,000 or thereabouts show their celebrations. Tracy with 3 goals now. Looking for Frederick, couldn't mark. Carlos was there, he dropped it. Fight gathers, snaps and goals. Nat Fight had a chance for a set shot earlier tonight, couldn't convert, and now with the snap, kicks truly.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Couple of shout-outs around the nation, indeed around the world. Kelly and Peter, normally from South Headland in WA, but they're in sunny Istanbul in Turkey, enjoying the great call, guys. Thank you very much for getting in touch wherever you happen to be. Rick Ensley's in Margaret River, already one of our regular correspondents, saying he's headlamping as usual in the garden. Who besides Jager is keeping the Bont under control? There's a question for you. As we look to the back of the box, Shane Woden and Cara Antonio. A quarter to come. The Dockers lead the Bulldogs by 5 points.
Well, around stoppage, Hayden Young's had his body. It was a directive from the coaching staff, but certainly maybe not early, but I reckon after quarter time it was certainly clamped on there for a little while. Then it's not a hard tag or whatever, but just take care of him when needed. He hasn't had the influence Bont has. Probably has had 21, but he hasn't had the general influence that he has in previous times. But yeah, no, I thought the Western Bulldogs in that quarter were a lot better. I think they held field position. They had 15 inside 50s, but 2 goals 7. They just didn't capitalise on their opportunities, unfortunately. But particularly in that back half of that quarter, Sam Darcy had a terrific quarter when they went long to him, got his levers up, and was a real nuisance for the Fremantle defenders, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. He's 208 centimetres and really hard to defend down there, especially undersized Dockers group down there with Draper now off. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this last quarter. It's anyone's game. Again, a real arm wrestle thus far. Let's see what the fourth quarter has in store.
Some of those key numbers, the clearances, Fremantle 37-22, the inside 50s 41-40 favouring Fremantle, very even there. Individually for the Dogs, Bailey Dale 23 touches, Treloar and Bontempelli 21 apiece for Fremantle. Caleb Sarong and Nat Fyfe both have 30. Caleb Sarong, equal career high 14, already a club record for the Dockers, equal club record 14 clearances.
Carly and Molly asked, where was the shout-out? I did give you one. Carly, Molly, I promise, but there's another one for you. Enjoying the marshmallows. Final term underway. Who prevails, Dockers or Dogs? And the Dogs win it down in the middle. They slapped it out, but only as far as Sarong. So English won the tap, but Sarong gathered it, gave it to Young, pumps it deep inside forward 50. Jones, good mark.
Great mark.
Middle of the line of 4. Liam Jones, arms at full stretch, dragged it in. And he heads to Bramble, who's in the right back pocket. Just waited for the lead of Daniel. Kick goes in his direction and he marks as well. Daniel just glances inboard for a moment. Goes on a little run. Kicks beyond defensive 50. Darcy against English. Darcy at the back. Got a fist to it. Won it down to Johnson for the Dockers. Puts it back from whence it came. Jones flew at it. Punched it down. Young looked to tap it forward for the Dockers. Ball hits the deck. Bramble had it knocked out of his hands by Young. Umpire says holding the ball. Good effort from Young to affect the tackle. Knocked the footy away. It's going to be a free kick here for the Dockers. About 55 from goal. Hard up against the boundary at left half forward.
16 players in defensive 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Caulfield in the lead lanes.
Hayden Young has already kicked one tonight. This right on the edge of his range. Doesn't decide to go for it. Sets it up to the top of the square. Jackson flew from the side. Couldn't mark. English bumbled it. Now Voss in there. The debutant just threw it away and the umpire pinged him for it as well. Just looking for an option. English laid the tackle and Voss just eventually threw the ball away. It's the Bulldogs ruckman. Wins the free kick. Deep in defence. Goes short. As a teammate in Bramble. Still deep in the right back pocket. Umpire calls him to play on now. Kicks it up the wing. Looking for a target. Looking for the mark of Darcy, but Aish was able to cut across and mark it for the Dockers. He's off his line by about 5 metres. Eventually called to play on. Now kicks inside the forward line. Frederick takes the mark and holds on despite the late coming Marcus Bontempelli. He'll go back, take the set shot. Slight angle to the left. He'll kick from about 45 metres out.
Aish's 10th mark, 4th intercept.
It's been good.
Really good tonight. Real patient, waiting for someone to come at the foot, but just kind of popped it in the area. Wanted the forward to lead into, and Frederick read it really well.
Already has one tonight on his return to the side, Michael Frederick. The set shot struck beautifully with the right boot. And the Fremantle crowd erupts. They get the first goal in the final quarter. Give themselves some breathing space again. 11-9-75 the Dockers. The Bulldogs 9-10-64, 11-point margin. Well, 3 minutes played here, final quarter. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Mitch Turner alongside me, Clint Wheeldon, our experts. AFLW captain for Fremantle, Cara Antonio, and former Brownlow medalist Shane Woe. Still a Brownlow medalist, will always be.
He was a bit filthy. He wasn't getting the first one.
Yep.
Michael Frederick at the top of the 50 when Aish marked that ball. But, yeah, you're right. You've hit the nail on the head a couple of times at Cara tonight. Just patience. Just waiting for the option. Something will come late. Look gap there at about 40 metres out. Just popped it in and Michael Frederick clunked one.
Les is listening in from Chicago. Are there 45,000 Docker umpires at the game? Go Dogs. They are one-sided,
Come
Les.
on, mate.
No doubt about that. They're passionate for their team and they're loud. Here's Bontempelli bursting through. Surely was being held. He was. By Brayshaw. He elects to play on quickly by hands to Richards, who stepped around one opponent, spotted English. Fired the ball in his direction and English marks. Bontempelli magnificent and then smart to play on. And then clever too by Richards, who was able to break free and find English, who must go back and convert.
He's classy, isn't he?
Yeah, it's probably a professional free kick from
I reckon it was
Brayshaw.
too.
Oh, yeah.
But then, yeah, clever. Just to play on quick. English pop forward again on Darcy.
All Australian last season. English has one tonight from 45 metres out. He's missed. He knew it too.
Yeah, straight off the boot. Hated it.
Turned his head to the left in frustration. A minor score. 10-point ball game. 4.5 minutes gone in the last. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Luke Ryan again. It's a reset play for the Dockers. Goes, as he often does, to the pocket and finds Clark. As I mentioned before, Caleb Sarong now up to 15 clearances. It's the record for the most amount of clearances in a game by a Fremantle Docker. The kick up to the wing by Clark. English covers the ground so well. Able to take the mark. He's having a shot from the other side just moments ago. Now he will send it back inside the forward 50. Looking for a target. Sean Darcy dropped the mark. Riley West did the roving, was caught by Young, was able to handball it though to Treloar. Thought he was held by Brayshaw. No call. Ends up in the hands of the Dockers midfielder. He gives it over to Calmus from the Dogs, who's buried into the turf by Michael Frederick. It'll be a ball up. Attacking side of the AFL logo for the Dogs. Sean Darcy tries to take it out of the ruck. English had him high. And Sarong thought about taking the advantage. The umpire said no, brings it back, and Sean Darcy will have the free kick, defensive side of the wing for Fremantle.
Gets told to move it on. Sean Darcy kicks towards left half forward. Voss, and then flying up to get a fist to it. Well done, Jones. That punch has gone a good 40, 50 metres to Garcia, who gathered to McRae. Stabs it short. Sam Darcy has it. Running by his arms. That's the direction the ball goes. Bailey Banfield got in front. Spoiled it away from Harms over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Just have to be a little bit more patient, Sam Darcy. Just wait for his forwards to reset back inside 50. Then maybe go to the top of the goal square if need be, but just a wasted opportunity there.
Great effort from Banfield.
Terrific effort.
Throwing in. Ball was thrown well short of the two rucks. Treloar gathered, tried to get it to Daniel under immediate pressure. Umpire spotted a free kick. It's coming the way of the Bulldogs here. Daniel will have it. Little push in the back. So Caleb Daniel, 52 from goal. He'll centre the ball to the hot spot. They come from everywhere. Williams at the drop. Got a hand pass away. Bontempelli clever to Norton. Norton shoots on goal. I reckon it's through. They're going to review this one. The tap forward was so smart from Bontempelli. Knew he couldn't take possession. Saw Norton at left full forward.
Thought he hit the post.
Norton had no angle to look at. Has it clipped the inside of the right-hand goalpost on the way through?
Smart kick in, though, from Caleb Daniel to pull it.
Off the line.
Off the line. 3v1. Really smart.
Sam Darcy nearly clunked it again.
He's looked good, hasn't he?
He has.
Darcy?
Been terrific tonight.
Not seeing anything.
No snicko?
Well, we have the snicko.
Well, we should have. We've had it year before.
You can't tell from those angles.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, goal. It's a great finish.
Can I just say I called that? Yes. Goal to Norton. It was a great finish from where he was, and it was set up by a wonderful bit of play from Bontempelli just to tap it in his direction. And Norton, who would have had no daylight to look at, could curl it through. What a finish we've got coming up. 10-11-71 now the Bulldogs. 11-9-75 the Dockers. 4-point ball game. 8.5 to play. Well, 8.5 gone, rather, in the final term. That's a beauty.
I've had a fair stint on the bench. First up. Just come back on. Even to keep the ball alive, Williams. Hands free. Get it. Gave it to Bont. Flicked it on.
Second to Norton. Pushing the back against O'Meara on Daniel. In the back on the side. Tough call, but take nothing away from that little tap down by Bontempelli.
Footy IQ.
Ball back in the middle. The margin back to 4 points the way of the Dockers. Ball bounces back to the ruckman in English. Was able to give it to Treloar. Had to wheel around and kick it back towards half forward. Ball off hands. Coming through Sockering. Trying to get it to Harms was Darcy. He gave it straight to Banfield of the Dockers. Now releases Chapman. His handball, Aish had to go back and get it. Gives it to Banfield under pressure. The Dockers, are they going to cough it up? Yes. Vandermeer pounces on it for the Dogs. Gives it to Bontempelli. Handball's inside the forward 50. Another clever tap from Harms to Norton. He's caught Norton. He gets the handball free. Can West gather on the boundary? He does. Keeps the ball in play. Sharps there for the Dockers. Harms over the top of him. Coming through his Walker. Eventually gets it out. Fremantle fans not happy. They gave him a long time, Norton, but he did handball it. quite clearly on the replay. Handballed at about 15 metres as the ball spun back in, still inside the Dogs, attacking 50. Bontempelli couldn't quite gather it, tapped it to a teammate. Fife, though, coming through, steals it. Caught by Johannesson. Umpire said he got a handball free. Now Dale's in there for the Dogs, gives it to Daniel, tries to step around the debutant in Simpson, and he takes him over the boundary line. The Dockers are able to force the Dogs back about 60 metres there. Now the ball will be tossed back in attacking side of the wing for the Western Bulldogs.
Put back into play. One down by Darcy of the Dockers. Gave it to Fife. Hurriedly kicked forward. Karma's front position. Was he taken high? He was. Going against Voss. There'd be some nervous Fremantle supporters. Indeed, some nervous Fremantle players now. They know how to lose a close game in 2024, the Dockers. Thomas goes back to Dale at left half back and right back to Jones. All on his own for a moment in his defensive 50. Flares it out to O'Donnell at right half back. The margin is 4 points in favour of Freo. Comes to English. Running by Dale. Receives the footy. Takes a bounce on the logo. Moves it short to Durain. Inside the centre square. Emmett! Great smother. Would have been sent towards full forward. Emmett smothered, ricocheted away for the Dockers. Now they're on the charge. It comes to Frederick, to Walters, to Sean Darcy. Kicks inside forward, 50. Emmett goes to ground. Umpire says play on. It came to Voss, then to Walters. Jackson in the goal square, can't reach. Johannesson's back there. Scoops it up for the Bulldogs. And goodness me, he has put it out of bounds on the full. Free kick to Fremantle in the right forward pocket. Just when it looked like the Bulldogs were going to be able to get rid of the footy, disaster struck off the side of Johannesson's boot.
Very good at staying involved, Emmett, isn't he?
He is.
Defensively, better get up the ground real quick, apply pressure, turn it over. Fantastic. Done it a couple times tonight.
Quick closing speed as well, his last couple of steps.
Powerful.
Luke Jackson's got a couple of goals to his name. Won a premiership on this ground with Melbourne. A rising star a few years ago. Jackson goes with the drop punt. It doesn't miss by much. Didn't try to curl it around. Just trying to just work it through across the face for a minor score. 5-point ball game. 12:42 gone in the last. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary.
Bailey Dale gets the restart, gives it to Richards. Has the ball 35 metres out from his own goal. Now plays on, goes wide, gives it to McRae. Has a runner coming past in Johannesson. Kick up the wing, had to be perfect, it was. Got it to Giray. Now kicks up looking for Norton. Pearce comes across, gets the fist in. Quick transition, the ball goes out of play. Right at the forward 50 junction, left half forward for the Dogs as the crowd number goes up here at Perth Stadium. 45,931 for the 27th Len Hall tribute match hosted by the Fremantle Dockers. They lead right now by 5 points. The ball gets spun back into the restart. Fife's taken straight away. It'll be tossed up again. Left half forward for the Dogs. Jackson tapped it down to Sarong for the Dockers. Gave it to Ryan. Kicks it up towards the logo, flying from the side. Tracy took the mark. Had a runner in Simpson coming past. His kick inside the forward 50 and again. The debutants link up. And Voss takes the mark, tracking back inside the forward 50. And Patrick Voss has the chance to go back and kick goal number 2 on debut. It'll be a big one for the Dockers.
Great ball movement, quick, had runners.
Can't defend that again.
Can't.
Nah.
Patrick Voss, already a goal tonight in game number 1. For goal number 2, he pulls it away to the left. A minor score, but it makes it one straight score. So Fremantle 11-11-77. The Dogs 10-11-71. It's one straight kick in it.
Nervous times for everyone involved. Dale beyond defensive 50. O'Meara slapped it back. Walker was there to gather. Kicks backwards dangerously, but it was precise. And Clark could mark. He goes back to Ryan. Centre half back, a switch of play to the southern wing with a skipper for Fremantle in Pierce Waits. Trots back to right half back and then finds Clark with the kick. He marks on the defensive point of the centre square. Clark presents an option by running towards centre half back. He's just inside his defensive 50. Prods the ball forward. Finds O'Meara, then stabs it onto the chest of Frederick. Frederick spinning the footy over in his hands. He's got an option, but it had to be absolutely precise, and it wasn't. He couldn't find Johnson. Norton dropped back and took the mark. Now the Bulldogs, they have to surge forward. The kick to McRae, just shy of the logo, has the pause to give himself some options ahead of the footy. Decides to go back anyway to Norton, still inside the centre square. It'll come right back to Jones at centre half back. A goal the difference, 16 gone in the last on ABC Sport between the Dockers and the Dogs. Freo just in front.
Jones completed the switch to Bramble. Now Gallagher chips it further up the wing to Ed Richards. Wants to roll back on his left foot. Kicks inside 50, looking for Darcy. He was bodied out of it. It goes to the back of the pack. Jordan Clark cleans it up for Fremantle. Last line of defence. The kick had to be perfect. Sharp had to be strong. He takes the mark. Fremantle crowd wanted the 50-metre penalty, but umpire said no. Sharp's kick to Clark's a short one. Now he goes further afield to Brandon Walker. The speedster takes off. Has the dual Brownlow medalist in Nat 5. He takes the mark. Stepped off his line. Called to play on. Had to handball to Matthew Johnson. Running in circles away from his attacking end. Eventually was able to get some space and find Banfield, who tracked the ball back. Took the mark over his head. Now goes back to Johnson. Back into the centre square. The Dockers wanting to use the corridor. Johnson rolls and plays on. Kicks inside the forward 50. Tracy flies. So too O'Donnell from the Dogs. Ball tapped out into space. Simpson, the first one there for the Dockers. Snaps it over his head. Karmas couldn't gather the half volley. Frederick taps it out. Now Voss is in there for Fremantle. So too Bailey Williams for the Dogs. Jarray eventually takes it out. Is happy to be ushered over the boundary line. Ball in 25 metres around from the Dockers goal. They lead the Dogs by 6, 17 and a half played. Final quarter here at Perth Stadium.
Boundary umpire unfurls. Sean Darcy tapped it over his shoulder. Fife bursts onto it. Got a kick away. Sliding out O'Donnell. Great stop in front of the goal line. Sent it towards left half back for the Bulldogs. Wanted Williams. Sharp front position. Brought it to ground. Darcy picks it up from between his legs. Tackled by Vandermeer. Lost possession of the footy. It came out to half. Sarong got him, but he still got the hand pass out to Williams. Williams spun in the tackle. Hand passes straight to the boundary line. Throw in the call. The natives are restless. They wanted deliberate. Throw in 55 out from Freo's goal at right half forward. Two rucks go at it. Darcy palmed it down straight to Fife. Somehow manufactured a kick, but it's down the throat of Dale. What a player he's been in the last 2 weeks. And his kick is through the hands of Treloar. Had time to regather. Shovels the hand pass in the middle of the ground.
Put it in front of Jarray. Had to be clean to pick it up. Was under pressure from the Dockers and couldn't. Well done, Garcia. Went in, extracted it, gave it back to Dale. His kick up to Gallagher. He's 70 from home. Has a man over the top in Vandermeer. Now he kicks it inside the forward 50. Lob from the side. Can't mark. The umpire blows the whistle. And it's a free kick to the Dockers. A push in the back was paid. The Fremantle fans cheered as it was Rory Lobb who seemed to be the perpetrator of the push. Just as the Dogs looked like they had all the momentum running forward. Sloppy free kick given away. Now Fremantle exit defensive 50 to the wing, and Tracy again takes another strong mark. His kick though ricochets off English, handballs. Back to Darcy. Darcy took an opponent down with him, did so illegally. And Garcia will win the free kick for the Dogs.
He got legs. 6-point ball game in favour of the Dockers. Garcia to the right forward pocket. Well, didn't quite carry that far. Gallagher's got it. He'll set it up towards the teeth of goal. They fly from everywhere. Pearce got in front, got hands on it, tracked it to the boundary line. McRae was there. They're happy to see it across the line for a stoppage. 15 outs from the Bulldogs' goal.
Well done, Alex Pearce. Tim English floated forward again. Darcy was outside, so Great defensive effort there from the skipper.
A goal to the Bulldogs here will level the scores as we head towards time on in the final term. Lob palmed it down for the Bulldogs. Emerging with it, Banfield, though. Got it to Sarong. Another disposal, and he finds Tracy. Lovely ball beyond defensive 50. His 33rd touch. Fife's had it 35 times. Tracy goes back. The inboard kick to Aish. He's got it at left half back for Freo. They're 11-11-77. The Bulldogs 10-11-71. 21 gone in the last on ABC Sport.
Aish's high drop punt goes to the wing. Pack form punched out of bounds again as we head downstairs to Bridget Lacey.
Yeah, Marcus Bontempelli's been on the bench for quite some time. Very vocal. He's just about to get his chance. He's back on the ground now. Very frustrated he was waiting on the bench.
Bridget Lacey was pausing for a moment because there was some confusion still as Vandermeer was waiting to exit the ground so Bontempelli could come on. Shallow throw in. Sean Darcy got to the front. Treloar, though, snakes off the pack. Bontempelli was involved straight away. Got it to Williams. The kick up towards half forward. Aish.
Been good, hasn't he?
From the side. Took a strong intercept mark as Shane Woden and Cara Antonio have pointed out a number of times tonight. He's been intercepting so well at half-back for Fremantle. Now they go all the way back to Luke Ryan. His kick out to the wing. Finds Jeremy Sharp, and he has a man open over the top.
The kick goes that way. Chance to surge inboard. Nicely worked from Simpson. Pops it into Banfield. And Banfield gets told just to calm down for a moment. Darcy wanted it in the left forward pocket, but enough others were pointing, go and have your shot, Bailey. Cooper Simpson, the 29 involved.
Karma's cut boundary, thinking he's going to go, but the ability just to bring it back in through the corridor, drive his legs, and then just a composure to find an uncontested mark inside 50, not blaze away. Very good by Simpson.
Banfield's got one goal tonight. He'll kick from right on 50. He's given this an almighty ride. He's got his second. And Bailey Banfield, who in some ways was the villain last week with 4 behinds for the Dockers, with his second gives Fremantle a 12-point lead. 12-11-83 to the Bulldogs 10-11-71. 23 minutes gone in the last. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Our experts, All-Australian Cara Antonio, Brownlow medalist Shane Woden.
You're right, Wally. Just the composure from young Simpson to lower the eyes. He could have gone deep. There was a lot of backleading from a number of Fremantle players, but Banfield just ticked back up at the foot. Nice mark inside forward 50. The 13th for the game, and went back and hit the scoreboard.
A bit more of a role player. The moment he's played back tonight.
He has. Been everywhere.
Played forward.
On the wing.
Yeah. Been good.
The Freo chant goes up as the ball's back in the middle. The home side lead by 12 points. There's still plenty of time for the Dogs. And Fremantle finally hold on to a close one. The Dogs have another punch to throw here. Ball back into play in the middle. Brayshaw broke a tackle. Was able to get the kick out. Umpire said it was a drop kick. Said it hit the ground before he laid boots the ball.
Did look like it.
And therefore has been pinned holding the ball. English with the free kick. Goes short. Gives it to Richards. Has a runner out wide in O'Donnell. Lays the handball off to him. Kick inside the forward 50. Pearce gets back to knock it away from Norton. It goes wide at the Rover in Harms. Goes out of bounds deep in the right forward pocket. 24 minutes played. Final term. The Dockers lead by 12 points. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
1300 558 222 if you want to call us after the game for a chat. Love to hear from you as English won it down. Tapped it away for the Bulldogs. Pearce looked to knock it towards the boundary line. The Bulldogs calling for insufficient intent. They don't get it. It's going to be a throw-in instead. Still in their right forward pocket. They need 2 goals to draw level, the Bulldogs. 12-11 plays 10-11. Heading up towards the 25-minute mark in the final term. 45,000 plus in at Perth Stadium. English palms it down to Treloar for the Bulldogs. Got it back to Richards. Now to Bramble. He's at right half forward. Threw it on the boot. Big pack up at full forward. Norton couldn't mark. Came down off his hands. Here's Daniel trying to get a hand pass through traffic. Sarong emerges with it again. Threw it on the boot. Tracy couldn't mark it left half back. Banfield tapped it to his own advantage. Gathered, hand pass, wanted Walters to run onto it. Walters under pressure from two dogs. Harms and Bontempelli, or Jones rather, knocked it over the boundary line for a stoppage in front of the Fremantle interchange gates. Their leaders 12 points, 25 gone in the last.
Ball spun back in, right in front of the Dockers bench. Lob got to the front, ball tapped down. Sarong again on hands and knees, sped it out to Banfield. What a fourth quarter he's had. The kick up the wing, marked by Tracy. Still just on the attacking side of the wing for the Dockers. Kicks inside the forward 50. Jackson in a one-on-one with O'Donnell. Spilled to Walters, gave it to Frederick. He's tackled by Dale. He wanted to take off towards goal. Dale had him immediately. The ball will be tossed up deep in the Dockers attacking 50. They lead by 12. There is still time for the Dogs. Ball tossed up. Tapped away into the path of McRae. His kick beyond defensive 50 falls in the lap of Bailey Banfield again. Has two for the game, has one in this quarter. He'll go back and signal he'll have a shot and he'll have to kick from about 55 tight angle to the left.
Yeah, take his 30.
He's had a terrific last quarter, Bailey Banfield, after, as Clint Wheeldon mentioned earlier, was somewhat of the villain last week. Didn't quite have the kicking boots on. Can he sink what would be the final blow to the Dogs' night? Banfield runs around. Kick is on the way. It's bending back. It's through. And that should be all she wrote for the Bulldogs' night. The Dockers jump out to an 18-point lead. And the kick from Bailey Banfield should send the Dockers back to the winners list. He has three. 13-11, 89 the Dockers. 10-11, 71 the Bulldogs. Bridget Lacey downstairs on the boundary.
Yeah, Nat Fyfe made his way back onto the ground just as that kick was being taken as well. Obviously want him on for the last couple of minutes.
You can tell already they've clearly trained since losing a couple of tight ones. Tracy now to a wing on the point. About to run back as a loose man in defence. They don't want to let this one slip, the Dockers.
And a tall as well to get back and sit in the hole. Even before that, at 450, they pushed Darcy to a ruck. Got Tracy behind the ball. And set up.
There was a long period of time with the Dockers kicked 13 goals under Rossline, they would win. And back here potentially again as they move it towards the outer side. Emmett was strongly tackled. Ball jarred out. Bontempelli on the logo. Hand pass back. Frederick got in the way. Tapped it in the direction of Brayshaw. Tackled by Richards. Got the arms free to Fyfe. Clever hand pass. Scooted along the ground to Frederick. Gathered. Found Walters, who marks in front of goal, 40 out. And is immediately told to go back and take your kick.
Fyfe again with the underground handball. He's been so impressive tonight.
Hasn't had 37 disposals since round 22 in 2018, Nat Fyfe.
It's just looked like he's had so much time with the ball tonight. Made some really good decisions.
Clean, covered the ground better.
Yeah, running on top.
Michael Walters, again in some parts, was considered a bit of a villain last week in the Derby. He trots in from 45 out. He's a hero once more to those in purple. Walters makes absolutely sure of it. The Dockers are going to win their fourth of the season. Their lead is out to 24 points. 14-11-95. The Bulldogs 10-11-71. Half an hour gone in the last. Walters adds his name to the list of Fremantle goal kickers.
40 seconds to go. Gets Sean Darcy, has a breather. Been good the last 5 minutes, haven't they? Just to stamp their authority on the game. You know, Sarong on that loose ball there just to win it. Emmett.
He doesn't miss those ones, does he, Sonny?
He's had a good game tonight.
Ball back in the middle, reset. Jackson tapped it down. Young couldn't take it. Sarong able to feed it out again. Disposal 37 for him. Ends up with Banfield on the wing. Kicks up to the debutant in Voss. He had a juggle, a fumble, but he takes the mark on the second attempt. He'll play on, wheel around, kick it inside the forward 50. Frederick with one last hurrah. Couldn't take the mark. It spills off the hands of Johannesson. Kind of sums up the Dogs' night. A bit fumbly as it goes out of bounds for a throw in. Voss. Nice little mark to finish the game for him, you'd suggest. Patrick Voss and Cooper Simpson will celebrate their debuts by singing the song as the ball's tossed back in. English taps it down to Bontempelli. Out to Jones. Now Johannesson to Treloar. The Dogs work it out from deep in defence. Bontempelli has it on the wing. But after two heartbreaking losses and an embarrassing defeat to the crosstown rivals in the Derby, the Dockers are back on the winners list in 2024. They tame the Dogs and take them down by 24 points. We are the Rio Dockers. Rio, way to go. Give them real hot, take them down below. Oh, Rio, give them the old Rio. We are the Rio Dockers. We're the rollers, we're the rockers. We're the mighty Rio Dockers. We're gonna roll them and we'll rock them. We're gonna send them to the bottom. And if they get up, we'll do it again. The Dockers stop at nothing, nothing. Rio, way to go. Hit them real hard, send them down below. Oh, Rio, give them the O-B-O. We are the Rio Dockers. Rio, way to go. Hit them real hard, send them down below. Oh, Rio, give them the O-B-O. We are the Rio Dockers.
Like a good thriller, there are a couple of villains from last week that turn into heroes. One of those, Bailey Banfield. 3 goals tonight for Fremantle. 3 to Tracy, 2 to Jackson, 2 to Frederick. Michael Walters back again as a hero to the Purple Faithful with a goal. Nat Fyfe deserved one to go alongside 37 disposals. Hayden Young kicked the goal, and so too on debut, Patrick Voss for those in purple. For the Bulldogs, Darcy with 3, Dale with 2, Norton kicked 2, English, Vandermeer and West, the other goal kickers for the Western Bulldogs. Fremantle 14-11-95 to the Bulldogs 10-11-71. The guitarist is up on the very top deck of the roof, playing the version TNT by AC/DC that has been adapted to Fremantle here for a Dockers win. The Dockers by 24 points. They go 4-3 from 7 games. The Bulldogs on the flip side of that, 3-4. Richmond next to come for Fremantle at the MCG. The Bulldogs have Hawthorn. Freo's game the early on Sunday. The Bulldogs against the Hawks, the middle game on Sunday. What do you make of all of that? Brownlow medalist Shane Woden, All-Australia Cara Antonio with the Dockers winning by 24 points over the Dogs out west.
Oh, well done to both teams. I thought even the Western Bulldogs gallant, weren't they? They just kept coming. They weren't going away at all. They took the fight right up to Fremantle until probably the last 3 minutes where Freo kicked those late 3 goals just to put it to bed and ice the game. But credit to Fremantle. What they got smoked last week, as Jahiel said. Didn't it? They got belted up by West Coast, but to respond in that fashion, in that manner, was terrific. And their leaders stood up tonight, I thought, particularly around the ball, started to get the footy forward for them. To bring in a couple of debutants as well, which is exciting, but they stood tall in pivotal moments. They lost a couple through injury, like they lose Draper early. Yep. Walker was off for an extended period. So to show a little bit of resilience, and then, as you said, just learn from what happened in the previous weeks and just close the game out. It was a good job. And they got it done, which was really important for them to get back on the positive side of the ledger.
Yeah, you're right. I thought the contest work inside, but their ability to chain the ball from inside to outside cleanly, quickly and effectively. I think clear roles were set on individual players, and everyone seemed to be that everyone was on the same page and knew what they had to do individually for ultimate team success. And mentioned a couple of them. Sarong, outstanding, 37 touches, 20 contested, and the 17 clearances, and Fife's best game for the last, three or so years.
Yes,
37 touches, and he really set the tone early. I think he had 11 or 12 in the first quarter. 10 score involvements, and set him up by hand, really, with the 25 handballs. But I thought Aish and Clark off halfback really drove a lot of their ball movement. 23 marks between them, over 1,000 metres gained from the pair. They really were the ones that rebounded and were able to penetrate the ball inside forward 50, and that connection seemed to be between mid-forward coming back as the game progressed. So a lot of pleasing signs, no doubt, for the JL and the coaching staff tonight after, disappointing past 3 weeks.
Yeah. It's a grinding effort. Like, it was 4 quarters and they had to play it to the end, and the Western Bulldogs weren't going away. And it's a tough road trip for the Dogs also, but to come across here and put the fight up, and probably didn't play their best. Like, even their stars weren't playing to the level that we've probably seen in the past. They can have some high numbers, but the influence on the game wasn't as there as probably a previous game. So, great win by Fremantle, well deserved, and probably had a big week on the track and through the media and whatnot. But they stood tall down back as well, I thought.
That is 17 clearances, a club record by far for Caleb Sarong.
It's massive, isn't it?
14 was the previous record, held by a number of players. 17, he has absolutely smashed it. 14 by Troy Cook, Lockie Neal and Nat Fife. Now the record is 3 clear of that. Saw Troy Cook today, walked past him in the shops. Unfortunately, your record's gone, Troy. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Man, Cook, he was a good player.
He was a great player.
He was tough.
Both here and at Sydney.
Tough, yes.
What a win for the Fremantle Dockers. They responded in the only way they really could after the embarrassment of a thumping Derby loss when they were crushed by West Coast by 37. The Bulldogs back to the drawing board. Great win over St Kilda last week, and now concerns again. They have a winnable game against the Hawks on Sunday. They need to lift their rating. They were right in this contest for much of it. And when it came to it, near the end, the Dockers were just able to get away from them. Fremantle, with this victory, climbed back into the 8, so they jump back above the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs slide down into 10th. Collingwood sit between them because of their draw at this point in time. So Fremantle up to 8th with 16 points. The Bulldogs down from 8th to 10th with 12 points. As we wait for the Dockers to make their way down in the rooms, Mitch has given you one of the stats that really does stand out. Caleb Sarong with 17 disposals. What else have you got, Mitch, in terms of the numbers? The big one, of course, Fremantle 14-11-95. The Bulldogs 10-11-71.
Some of those key team stats, the disposals: Fremantle 385, the Dogs 362. The contested possessions, also Fremantle's way, 136 to 124. The kicking efficiency, Fremantle 73, the Dogs 69%. The clearances 47 to 30 the way of the Dockers, so too the hit-outs 47 to 34 the way of Fremantle. The tackle count did fall the way of the Dogs, 60 to 53. The inside 50 count fairly even at the end, only 52 to 50 favouring the Dockers, but marks inside 50, 15 to 9 Fremantle's way. Those are the team stats. We'll run through some of the individuals when we get back from the rooms. I say we'll go now then. Caleb Sarong 37, so too Nat 5. It's the most he's had in 6 years of footy. Andrew Brayshaw with 30 for the Dogs, 30 disposal to Bailey Dale. Adam Chalor 29, Marcus Bonsampelli the skipper with 27.
Let's go down in the rooms now. Bridget Lacey's there, Bridge.
Yeah, it's a packed rooms with friends and family. Patrick Voss and Cooper Simpson leading them down as the two are going to get soaked by that sports drink with their first win in Fremantle colours. Aaron Zaluski's down here. People might remember him as the bloke who once went surfing with Nat Fife, but he's also a star for the Kookaburras, who will be heading off to Paris later this year. Expecting this song to be raucous tonight. but we'll get a player shortly.
Thanks, Bridget. Plenty more to come. We're with you through until 9 o'clock, 11 on the East Coast. Fremantle by 24 points. If you like tonight, there's plenty more great sporting coverage on ABC Sport.
Hi, this is Corbin Middlemass.
And I'm Ben Cameron.
Join us every Monday and Thursday on ABC Sport Digital for Corbin and Ben.
We'll flesh out the key footy issues of the week and tell you what's hot news and what's not news.
Plus, we'll call in our friends Carlton 300 gamer Mark Murphy and Richmond champ Brett Delidio.
That's Corbin and Ben, Mondays and Thursdays on ABC Sport Digital, streaming on the ABC Listen app.
And available in the Best of ABC Sport folder in the podcast store.
ABC Sport.
Welcome to ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 Anzac Day round.
Something big is coming, I
know. What a day it's been. Saturday of Anzac Day round. Adelaide by 57 points, crushed North Melbourne. The Kangaroos 0-7 to start this season. It couldn't be any more different for the Cats. They beat Carlton by 13 points today as Jeremy Cameron kicked 5, including his 600th goal. And to wrap things up here in the West, Fremantle have beaten the Western Bulldogs in an absolute beauty. An arm wrestle between two sides. The Dockers just proving too strong at the end. They got away from the Western Bulldogs to win by 24 points. The final term, the Bulldogs only able to kick 1 goal, while Fremantle put on 4 goals, 2. For the Dockers also, Tracy with 3 and Bailey Banfield with 3 as well. Caleb Sarong had some sort of a night. 37 disposals for him, 20 contested possessions, and as Mitch Turner told you, a Fremantle club record of 17 clearances. Nat Fyfe back to his very best with 37 disposals. If you want to get in touch with us, we would love to hear from you. Give us a call. What was your highlight of the round? If you're a Bulldogs supporter, are you concerned again? Look to be some brighter days after the win over St Kilda. Are you concerned how the Dogs just couldn't get it done in the final term tonight? And if you're a Dockers fan, what did you make of this after the disappointment of losing the Derby? And such a lopsided Derby it was as well. Plenty of ways to get in touch. But a call 1300 558 222, 1300 558 222, or send us a text 0437 774 774. I feel that this was more the sort of performance that Fremantle would expect and demand from this season. We do think that they are around about the top 8 mark. These are the games that the Dockers have to win, and conversely for the Bulldogs, I reckon they'd be worried again. This was one that they would have come here, and after the way, they were expecting some sort of a fight back. We heard Luke Beveridge during the week say that. They'd be disappointed with the way that game got away from them at the end. Cara, Shane?
Yeah, Fremantle needed to respond. Obviously disappointing last week against a really impressive Eagles outfit. And then previous 2 games in Adelaide, a couple that got away that they probably should have won and held on to. But they were good. They were good for 4 quarters. As you said, the Bulldogs weren't out of it. They were impressive too in parts, and it was an arm wrestle of a game. And I just think there was a clear directive throughout the week to focus on contest work where they'd been belted previously, in being able to maximise clearance to their advantage and create more scoring opportunities and get that forward mid-connection back that they've been lacking the last kind of 3 or 4 weeks. And it was really good. There was just role players tonight, I thought. Banfield played a number of different roles. Tracy, I thought he was outstanding tonight. 8 marks, kick 3, but his ability to work up the ground and be that bailout option, kick and clunk those marks, which we haven't really seen consistently from him across his career. I thought he played a real pivotal role for them and just gave him a bit of stability up forward. Allowed Jackson to float forward as well and play a role at times. But yeah, the Dockers will be very impressed with that win. They needed it. They needed to bounce back.
Showed from the outset, I reckon, Fremantle's energy. They were active to bring the heat and really apply that pressure in that contest game. I thought their shape in front of the footy was really good. I think Voss add something to this Fremantle forward line. Tracy, Jackson and Voss as the three tools. JL generally goes with three tools as a structure ahead of the footy. And I think he provides another avenue. You know, he's strong, he can compete, he comes at the footy, he can go aerial, and works really hard. So, but I just thought across the ground, Jay will be really happy. Only 71 points that they've allowed the Dogs to kick from, 50 inside 50s. That's a terrific effort. Nearly kick 100 yourselves. Yeah, real good. So contest, really good. Defensively, outstanding. And offensively, got some different looks tonight. And even their high forwards to get up, apply pressure, and then rip back and just give them avenues towards goal too. Across the board, I thought it's never a complete game, but we saw some real positive sides from Freo tonight.
1300 558 222 if you'd like to give us a call. 0437 774 774 to send us a text. There was a lot of discussion about whether Jackson and Darcy would work together. There were some genuine question marks after last week. How did you assess that after tonight?
Well,
tick.
Yeah, it worked tonight.
Tick.
It worked tonight.
Yeah, I thought both played pivotal roles at contest and stoppage, and when they went forward, Jackson's had 4 shots on goal, which is a great effort. How many marks did he take tonight?
Just the one, but
just the one. But he competes. He brings it to the ground. That's his job when he's a forward too. But he's hit the scoreboard. He's had 4 shots, but he has an influence too when he goes and plays second ruck.
8 score involvements.
Yes. So,
massive.
Yes, I did think it worked tonight.
On the flip side of that, they're talking about the Bulldogs and coming up short. How much did the laid out of Tom Liberatore hurt them in the middle tonight? Because Caleb Strong's had 17 clearances. Tom Liberatore is arguably probably the best clearance player in the competition. He was laid out with illness. Obviously, he was supposed to return from that concussion. Nat Fyfe's had 37 touches. Strong's had 37 as well. They've had 24 clearances between them. And then throw Andrew Brayshaw with 7 clearances as well. How much did they miss Tom Liberatore on the inside tonight, the Dogs?
Massively. Massively. He's a clearance beast. He hunts the footy. Teams have to be aware of him, and they're almost, I think we spoke off air, they're almost second to the ball when he's out there. And no doubt the Fremantle mids were licking their lips when they heard the news come through the change rooms that he was out. Because I'm not saying he would have been the difference, but he would have.
He would have certainly
impacted
supported Bontempelli.
They don't have a like-for-like to turn to in that role, do they?
That's right.
No.
You get moments in games, and I think Jan summed it up pretty well here on the text line, 0437 774 774. Great call. The Bulldogs can't kick straight. The players should look in the mirror. The coach can't kick it for you. There are moments that can change things, and it was from one of their absolute best, one of the league's superstars, Marcus Bontempelli, missing from a chance he could have thrown it over
5
from.
metres. It was a big moment, wasn't it? Yeah, keeps them in the contest. They weren't out of it until probably 5 minutes to go when it was only a goal the difference. But, they are moments in the front of the big sticks.
Let's head down into the rooms. Bridget Lacey's got a special guest with her. Bridge.
Thanks, Clint. I do. Lucky enough to have Jordan Clark join me. Jordan, you needed a response after last week. That was a great win. How do you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we needed a response after the last couple of weeks. We've had, obviously, 2 tight games and 2 losses, and then a game last week that we definitely wanted to make amends on, and I thought we did that really well tonight.
You have dropped a couple of close ones this season, been talked about a lot, but what were your thoughts going into that last quarter? Did you feel confident that you could handle the pressure in that last quarter?
Yeah, obviously, like I touched on before, we lost 2 close ones a couple of weeks ago, and you take a fair few learnings out of those, and it was nice to put them into place, get that, the ball falling our way, and getting set up behind the ball to, allow us to, put that game to bed and ice it. So I thought we took those learnings, put them in place tonight, and it felt pretty good.
I have to ask you about Nat Fyfe. It was vintage tonight. It must be pretty awesome. Probably since you've come to the club, you probably haven't seen the very best of him, but what was it like as a teammate out there tonight?
He's amazing. I think you throw him, Caleb, Andy, Hayden Young, Luke Jackson, Sean Darcy together, I think you're going to get some pretty special performances, and they're pretty good at looking after each other, those mids, aren't they? All stuffed the stat sheet tonight, so good on them, mate. It was good to see.
Send you upstairs for some questions. Cara Antonio, Shane Woden, Clint Wilden and Mitch Turner.
Right, Geordie, Shane Woden up here, mate. Terrific win. It was a great response from the group. The profile of the game tonight looked what Fremantle would like it to. Ball played in your front half. I think you had 26 front half turnovers, so locked it in there, and your contest game was back to where you wanted at least.
Yeah, exactly right. I think if you can lock the ball in your front half and get repeat entries and put defences under pressure, they're bound to give up goals and scoring opportunities. And it's pretty much exactly what we don't want is what we want to make the opposition feel. So, tonight I felt like we were able to get the game on our terms and make the most of it.
And only to keep them to 71 points too. I think Jay will be pretty happy with that defensively too. But great to have Chappie back in the back seven tonight too. Just again gives you that stability, play multiple roles, different sizes. You'll complement each other very well down there tonight.
Yeah, it is. No, it's awesome to have Chack back. I mean, we're just a better team when he's in it, so it doesn't matter where he's playing on the ground, but he's a special talent, and it's just good to see him and back out on the oval, and I'm hoping he can have a extended run at it now and show us his best footy, and he's got so much growth in front of him, it's scary.
Geordie, Cara Antonio here, congratulations on the win. Some role players tonight I thought up here. Just Banfield played across a number of different positions, obviously with a number of players going down, but how important are different role players in these certain games, and especially when you're down a couple on the bench? Yeah,
he's probably, like I said, he doesn't get enough praise for what he does, Banners. He's the ultimate teammate. He'll play anywhere for anyone and he'd do anything he's asked. And throw Jago O'Meara in that boat tonight, he had to change his whole role and come into the back line and, fill a hole as well. And, in terms of Banners tonight, I thought full credit to him to step up late and kick those 2 goals. They were massive moments in this game. And, he probably missed a few shots the last couple of weeks that he wanted back. And I think for him to be able to do that tonight, it just, it's a full credit to him and his mental strength to, really bring out his best. And he deserves all the credit he gets.
And it was evident up here, I suppose, the last kind of 4 to 5 minutes when you hit the front, a couple of goals up. It was like the players knew, and you'd train scenarios. You didn't want to lose another close one. How important is it to have strong leaders out in the ground to lead the front and to lead that directive?
Yeah, it is. It's that's also very important, but it's also important, to have every single player on the ground knowing what their role is in that moment of time. So there's an element of the leaders, and the bench sort of sends the message out, and there's the leaders that will communicate. But every sort of player on the ground has to know their role, because obviously you play a very important role, and things change very quickly. So it's a full credit to everyone. It's just not probably on the leaders. To get it done, you all got to execute it together, and I thought that's what we've been working towards, and it was a special thing tonight.
Jordan, Mitch Turner here. Congrats on the win. Talking about those close losses you had against Port Adelaide and Carlton, tonight, again, you had a 12-point lead late. What's the messaging been from Justin Longview and the coaches? Is it to take the game on and try and score and put the game away in those final minutes, or is it trying to lock it down? Because you didn't really lock it down. You went up the other end, you kicked another goal, and you locked the game away in that way. What has been the message been in those late game moments?
Yeah, it's all a part of it. Like going back a couple of weeks ago, sorry for referencing a few weeks ago, but we probably went in to finish the game or win the game a bit too early without it being called from the bench. And then tonight, we reflected on those 2 games, and like the group discussion was, we don't go into any sort of game style, game implements or changes until the sign's put up on the bench. So tonight we were just playing the free away and trying to take the ball forward and score. And I think that it's a full credit to the boys out on the oval. We were able to do that. And when the red sign went up, that's finished the game, and we're able to slot into that format and put it to bed.
It's been a tough year down back. You've played very well as a collective, but you've lost some troops along the way. Josh Draper tonight subbed out with a hamstring injury. How serious is that? Because of course you can't afford to lose another player down there.
Yeah, I'm obviously no doctor or no guru, and don't hold me to this, but I had a little conversation with him and said, what do you reckon? He goes, just a small one, didn't feel too good, but not right to keep going. So, young players like that with so much potential, probably no need to risk him, And, it's a full credit to the depth of our backline at the club. I mean, there's a lot of boys who could slot in now, even with the injuries, and the boys at the Peel level. So, Boydie and Muz, JL, they're doing a great job with the backs down there. And I think it's the whole team thing as well, filling gaps where we need players and that sort of thing. So it's an awesome group to be a part of.
On the other side of the injury front, how good was it to have Heath Chapman back there alongside you in the defensive 6?
Yeah, we sort of touched on it, but I love playing with Chappie. He's just so reliable. You see him under a ball and you just know he's getting it done. So he's an ultimate competitor, ultimate pro, and he's the best teammate. So it's a pretty good mix to be having standing alongside you on the oval.
Jordan Clark is with us from the Fremantle Dockers after their 24-point win over the Western Bulldogs. Geordie, you mentioned a couple of times the last few weeks, and you mentioned mental strength for yourself. We know you were the focus after the defeat to Carlton. How did you deal with that, and how have you been able to come through and play again with such mental strength out there?
Yeah, obviously it was a tough week for me, and I'm probably not going to go into it too much depth, but I'm just lucky to have a really good support base around me, my girlfriend, my parents, my friends, my tight-knit family and that sort of thing, and the club as well. But I had full focus on, just keep playing my footy, and everyone's going to have their opinion. That's what happens in footy. Things get blown out of perspective, and you got to remember sometimes where these comments and opinions are coming from, and if it's no one important to you, there's no point getting hung up on it too much. So that was sort of my mindset, is I just need to know what my teammates, the club, my family and that sort of support network think of me, and that's all that matters to me.
You did get a hero poster out of it, though. I don't know whether your family and friends have put one of those up for you.
Yeah, I won't read into too much about that. It's, pretty, yeah.
A last one for you, and you've sort of touched on it from the support you've had, but one thing I noticed tonight in particular was the celebrations from the players when someone achieved something. Every player from every part of the ground went to Patrick Voss when he kicked his first. Pretty much every player anywhere, when someone did something special, was keen to get around the Fremantle Docker who had achieved that, whether or not it was the goal or the setup to the goal. That seems to be something from where we're sitting really obvious on the ground. Has that occurred naturally, or is that something the leaders have asked for?
No, that's all natural. We're not putting that on, and I think you go back and look at any game this year and it's been there. I think last week probably faded away a little bit because we didn't kick too many goals, but it's something that's, come along naturally. This is such a special group. We all want to get to one spot, and we're all working pretty hard over the summer. And, those bonds you build through those hard sessions are what, you get to put into work tonight and get to celebrate. And in terms of, backline and that sort of thing, I can speak on us. We don't get to kick the goals at times, but, we get to celebrate the little moments for us that are the goals, which are spoils, blokes coming back with the flight, getting the finger in, and, contest wins to start up that the ball movement and allow our forwards to have a chance. So they're the goals for us, and that's why we celebrate so hard.
Congratulations on the win. Good to chat to you. You're back in the 8. Enjoy it and enjoy what's to come. Thanks for talking to us, Jordan Clark.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Jordan Clark downstairs and just having a look. His total stats, 23 disposals, 16 kicks, 7 hit-outs. He also had 5 score involvements, 5 inside 50s as well, 2 clearances and 4 contested possessions. If you want to get in touch, 0437 774 774. G'day, team, says Patrick, who's listening beside a fire pit outside of Glen Rowan. Great call as always. How does this Dogs midfield keep getting beaten? Surely there's an argument that Luke Beveridge isn't getting enough out of them. They are a very impressive midfield, but I think outside of WA, the Fremantle mids, maybe at times, but generally don't get quite as much respect as they possibly should, because Freo's mids are outstanding as well. It was one of the things we were really looking forward to seeing today, the battle of the midfields.
Yeah, and Fremantle well on top. And they've been complimented a little bit now with Hayden Young in there as the big body for when Fife leaves the game. And that's important to have that big body. And then the 2 boys around who have been doing it for a while now, Brayshaw and Sarong, I reckon, are unheralded as midfielders of this competition. They're very good because what they do is they do it inside, but more importantly, they can go the other way as well and get on the outside and go 2 ways, which is really important as a mid. And they're starting to find a really good balance and mix in there, and with 2 very good ruckmen as well.
How do they, Matt? I mean, the one I always think about, Port Adelaide, often spoken about how good that young midfield is with Butters, Rosie, Horne-Francis, now, of course, Ollie Wines in there.
True.
Much of a similar profile to Fremantle. They both got the Brownlow medalists. Fife has got 2 Brownlows. Ollie Wines has got one as well from 2021. Rosie, Butters, you got Sarong and Brayshaw. You got Willem Drew, you got Hayden Young. They match up fairly well in terms of the depth going through that midfield as well. And it does seem sometimes Fremantle's midfield is, well, disrespected in a way by some pundits around the country, because if you look at their numbers, from clearance differential heading into the Derby last week, they were the best in the competition. They lowered their colours, but then they've come out tonight and dominated the Bulldogs. So from an actual numbers standpoint, they haven't lost the clearance count too many times this year.
Andrew's from Kensington. He says, yep, the Dogs were okay up until the last quarter, but finished in their usual way. They can forget about the top 8.
Yeah, the third quarter killed them. 2 goals, 7.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah, missed opportunities. Couldn't capitalise in the front half. And Freo have got 2 young mids who can't get in the centre square at the moment. In Johnson, who sits on the outside, and young Erasmus, who can't get a game.
And Will Brodie as well.
And Will Brodie. So
30 a week in the waffle at the moment.
Yeah, they've got good depth from a young point of view. And let's not underestimate Jeremy Sharp. And they lose Liam Henry, who was playing that wing. But to grab Jeremy Sharp in this draft and get him in and let him play on that wing and let him go up and down all day, it complements that midfield inside.
Will point out they went after Jeremy Sharp when he was contracted at Gold Coast. The Suns didn't want to do a deal, and then
That's right,
he walked as a delisted free agent at the end of the following season. So
They've been trying for a couple of years.
yeah, so Gold Coast 2 years in a row, the Dockers went after Jeremy Sharp, and they did not want to deal him back to Fremantle, and then he walked for free, and they got nothing, which was one of the more perplexing things I've seen happen in the last few years.
You broke this story, Mitch Turner, so I'll let you answer this question. Em from Melbourne has sent me a couple of texts. Sorry, I was getting to it, Em, I promise. No word on the Michael Walters situation from last week that you mentioned. What did happen? It was well reported on this side of the country, obviously not so much on the other side of things, but what did happen with Michael Walters?
So the incident we spotted post-game as Fremantle exited the field after the derby last week was that Michael Walters, there'd been an incident between him and the fan. Now, the fallout from that was that the fan was aggressive and over the top with some of the abuse directed at Michael Walters. Now the club confirmed that there wasn't, and this is what many people had unfortunately feared or suspected may have been the case at the time. There was nothing racial about the abuse, which is something that we've seen some of our Indigenous players cop in the past around the country. It's a horrible thing that happens. That was not the case. It was just a personal kind of abusive attack on maybe the way he played footy or something of that nature, but it was over the top, and they said far too aggressive, far too personal, over the line. The stadium, the AFL, the Dockers and the Eagles are all investigating the incident. The fan that was pointed out quickly exited the stadium, so it was very hard to track down. So the stadium has been trying to investigate who the fan was, so they can follow up with that, and I imagine there could be a sanction or a ban of some sort coming that way. Michael Walters was keen. I know people have varying thoughts on Michael Walters and the way he behaves playing for free kicks out on the field and things of the like. He was keen just to point the fan out and then move on from the incident. Now, the club was very clear. He wasn't trying to make a huge deal out of it. He just wanted to point out that what was said was over the top, unnecessary, and I completely agree with him. I think, why would you come to the football to abuse a footballer? Just watch the game and enjoy the game.
Pathetic. It's weak.
Yeah.
Fremantle by 24 points over the Western Bulldogs earlier. Geelong by 13 over Carlton, and Adelaide by 57 over North Melbourne. We'll hear from the Dogs press conference in just a moment. Luke Beveridge about to speak to the waiting media. Before that, though, here's one for you all. You spotted this as well, Mitch. Happy Docker Paul asks this. Team, is the drop kick dead? Because Brayshaw did a drop kick in the fourth quarter and it was called holding the ball. I think the umpires make an assessment, and they probably shouldn't. If you drop the ball and you can get a boot to it, it's a drop kick. But they go, you actually weren't trying to have a drop kick here. You've dropped it and swung your foot at it, so therefore we're going to call you for holding the ball.
Especially whilst being tackled.
Good one for Dean Margetts, maybe in a week's time.
Yes.
On extra time.
Not this week, but next week.
Following Tuesday.
Yep, every second Tuesday.
Yep. He'll be able to answer that question exactly whether a drop kick is an automatic incorrect disposal or not.
Incorrect disposal.
Yeah, and that's the reason they pay it, because you're like, yeah, you're not fooling me. You weren't trying to get a drop kick there. You've just dropped it and somehow got boot to ball. That's the reason.
I did play a touch at AFL 9's game once, and I said to the umpire, the ball hits the ground's a turnover. If I want to do a drop kick here, am I allowed to? And he said, yes, because you've warned me. Because technically if it hits the ground, it's a turnover. And he said, because you've asked permission, I'll allow you to do a drop kick here.
There you go.
Good old AFL 9s. It's been a long time since I've had a run at that. Let's have a little listen to the Bulldogs camp. What happened tonight? They were right in this for most of the game until the final term when Fremantle ran away with it to win by 24 points. Here is their coach, Luke Beveridge.
Well, contest is probably the key word. We lost that, and it's not an ideal starting point. You know, the landslide of clearance wins, and centre bounce was okay early for us, but then they got well on top in there, and so without that element going in our favour, we're hanging in there, and we had enough momentum. We looked like we might come over the top, and then there was just two or three critical moments where we lost the handle on it. So probably the most disappointing thing in the end is in an arm wrestle, and ultimately we've got to measure ourselves on how we come through these tight games. Against an opponent who's been stung the week before, and up until the last part of that last quarter, we were coming, and we were giving ourselves a chance, even though the possession rate, a handful of their individuals with the volume of their involvement was concerning for us. We're just doing enough, and I think overall, we knew that they'd try and build the ball up a little bit, and I suppose the uncontested marks in that sort of front third for us as the game wore on probably got out of kilter a little bit. We prepared for that. We didn't defend it as well as we would have liked as the game went on. So there are a number of things that we knew going in that we let them get away with, and then you've got to give them credit, because they worked hard. They obviously responded to a difficult week. Talking about Fremantle, obviously, and it's another one that got away for us, as far as the close ones go.
Losing Tom before the game, Tom and Victoria, can you talk us through what happened there, and then also how it forced you to change your midfield up a bit?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, he came over healthy, and then somewhere between dinner and going to bed last night, he fell ill. So I can't tell you whether it's food poisoning or he's just got a bit of gastro from something else. And I'm not even sure if that detail will come out, but he just wasn't well enough to play. He couldn't keep anything down. And so that was a bit of a surprise. But ultimately, the 22 really was unchanged from last week. The only change to the team in the end, with Tom going out, because Riley Garcia comes back in, the only change that happened was Caleb Daniel went into the sub role that Riley Sanders was in last week. So, in a sense, we'd had a rehearsal the week before. So it wasn't too dramatic for us in preparation that Tom came out, because we managed it last week, and we figured, hey, we've had a rehearsal, and here we go again. But they got well on top through their midfield area, and it was hard to peg back.
Cody was a bit more impactful. How was he? So this is he just an update, and did really. I mean, he got the ball in enough times, and he went in 50 times, and
Yeah, well, it's not all doom and gloom. And as I said, there were parts, I think you're alluding to, there were parts of it that, we gave ourselves a chance. Cody, it's that elbow again, so, I don't know whether he'll need to have something done with that. But, they lost the player as well. And, it evens itself. As good a player as, Cody is, things happen. Ultimately, we hope he's okay, but he'll need to have it looked at again. And we'll need to take a long-term approach with him. Not that our staff haven't. It's just he's such a tough bugger flea. He stays on the ground after these injuries. So it was even a surprise that he couldn't keep going. As in the past, he somehow has found a way. But we'll work through it with our medical crew and let you know a bit more in a couple of days.
That's where we'll leave the press conference with Luke Beveridge after his side, the Western Bulldogs, lost to Fremantle by 24 points. The other games, Geelong by 13 over Carlton and Adelaide by 57 over North Melbourne. Jai's in Geelong and says, Jeremy Cameron's 600 goals, what a day. And being at the game was even better to witness it live. A great win by the Cats. Certainly was. The only problem that came out of it, hamstring injury to Patrick Dangerfield, forced off in the third quarter. So we'll have to wait and see how serious that is. But the Cats, top of the ladder, 7-0 to start the season. So well done to them. And as we mentioned before, Jeremy Cameron, 600 goals now in that pulsating 13-point win. He kicked 5 for the game. We need to get the votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year and the Christian Medal. Shane Woden, what have you got for us?
Oops, turn it on.
That's normally my trick.
Yeah, I've done it twice tonight, I think. So Cara and myself have come up with all Fremantle tonight.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Easy.
It was probably looking a bit different at half time, but towards the end of the game, we've given one to James Aish. I thought his ability at half back, have 28, 6 or 7 intercepts. but just really composed and controlled and won the ball back plenty of times for him. 2-5. It was terrific tonight, wasn't he? 37, 18 contested, 10 score involvements, 2 shots on goal, back to his best, and gave 3 to the Sarong with his 37 also, but 17 clearances is an enormous effort for any midfield. Break the record, 8 score involvements, 20 contested possessions. So him and Fife tonight just clean around the contest and just gave their outside mids that opportunity to get it forward, and there's our 3-2-1.
Makes it nice and easy for the Christian Middle. They just slide across. 3 to Sarong, 2 to Fife, 1 to Ace. Just saw a shot on the screens here of Cody Waitman downstairs, arm in a sling.
It's not good.
Not good, was it, the way that he landed? I thought the way that the arm seemed to move, and it's tougher to see because he's got the shooting sleeve on, for the lack of a better term, protection for the dislocated elbow he's had in the past. He might have even broken it, but the word we're hearing is another dislocated elbow. He knew he was in trouble the moment he hit the ground. Like the instant he's hit the ground, he's put his arm up.
Yeah, it's probably not the area where you want to fly either, do you?
No.
It was a bit of a, I would just say, it was a weird attempt. He didn't really get anywhere near it. He kind of just flew wildly at the ball, and he gave away the free kick in the end because it was an unrealistic attempt. So he's given away the free kick and potentially put himself on the sidelines for a bit.
The way he plays as well, they're probably going to have to go in and fix it.
Yeah,
because
surgery for sure.
Yeah, you can't keep happening.
The last time he did it, he played out the game and he kicked a bag of goals too. It was remarkable.
That was last year?
Yeah, I think it was last year. And he kicked 5 or 6 goals in the end. I couldn't believe it. Hence the shooting sleeve now.
Yeah.
It just didn't do anything.
Not what they wanted. Fremantle running it away with it at the very end. Tomorrow, interesting games here. Gold Coast versus the West Coast Eagles, and a team correspondent on the text from Wattle up in Broome. Hey guys, if you think the Dockers are flying, look out Gold Coast, because last week was no fluke. Good to see the Eagles fans are up and about, but they are without Tom Barras through suspension and didn't get the good bloke discount. And, of course, Harley Reid has been rested for that game up against the Gold Coast Suns. The other one will be a fascinating one at the MCG. Buddy Franklin in attendance. His 2 old sides, Hawthorn versus Sydney. That'll be a ripper. I'm really keen to see how Hawthorn can go, because they were good last week after Sam Mitchell said, bring your mouth guards to training. Amazing, a bit of physicality. Sometimes it can have the right effect. So they've got the Swans, the Hawks, tomorrow. And just a reminder, of course, our coverage will start 10 o'clock in the west, midday in the east. Sunday AFL, Matt Clinch will be joined by Cameron Ling. You can always get in touch with him if you want to as well. Let's just get your thoughts. The one thing I'm really keen on, it will be a major talking point tomorrow. I've no doubt about that. But Higgins from St Kilda, the tackle on Aliir that's seen him cop a 3-match ban. It's been graded careless, severe and high. For both of you, do you think that's the right level? And should you look at in any way that Aliir may have contributed by trying to get a kick away? How do you see it?
It's a hard one. I watched the game last night and I saw it and I thought it's going to get looked at. He'll be in trouble. Aliir obviously out with concussion for the remainder of the game, but I think 3 weeks pretty heavy. I thought maybe a week.
It's the severe impact that's the problem.
With
Aliir being concussed.
It is.
Yeah.
That can't be downgraded.
Nope.
No.
But again, like watch it, and it's easy for us. We can watch it in slow-mo and watch it on repeat and those kinds of things. But yeah, Aliir goes to kick the ball and he's falling with momentum, and Higgins falls with him. Yeah, it's a toughie.
Yeah, I thought he was in strife straight away.
Me too.
Yeah. And he's been concussed. That's what we've been adjudicating and sending suspensions, and he was done.
I think it's tough.
It's tough. It absolutely
I was going to say, something like 35, 40 years of watching football makes me go, that's tough, but that's where the game is now, unfortunately, for Jack Higgins. Not sure what they do with that. Interesting call on Sports Talk this morning. Maybe if a player has one arm that they can use to brace themselves, should they actually look at that not being a suspension?
Drop the ball. Protect yourself.
What onus is on you there? Anyway, no doubt we'll be able to talk about that and plenty more tomorrow on Sunday AFL. Thanks for your company. Wrapping things up, Fremantle by 24 points over the Western Bulldogs.
Are you an early career PhD researcher, or do you know someone who is? It's time to apply for this year's ABC Top 5. This is a unique opportunity for outstanding scientists, humanities academics, artists and cultural researchers. You could be one of the amazing people we get to meet to spend 2 weeks with the ABC, learning about the media and communicating your amazing research. Find full details online. Just search for ABC Top 5 to apply.
ABC Sport Digital Radio, your home of conversations.
This is an ABC podcast.
On the ABC Listen app, your smart speaker, and on AM radio.
This is the Conversation Hour on ABC Radio Melbourne and Victoria.
In the first quarter of last year's AFL Grand Final, Collingwood defender Nathan Murphy was on the ground breathing heavily after a head knock. His vision was blurred and he was subbed out of the game, and the doctors later confirmed that he'd suffered his 10th career concussion. The 24-year-old announced his retirement from the sport on advice of a medical panel this week. He spoke with our very own Raphael Epstein just on Tuesday, and this is what he had to say.
It is tough when you're sitting there and the medical panel are saying you can no longer play a sport that you love so much and you've grown up doing. I think I knew deep down that I was struggling, and symptom-wise I still am struggling. And those symptoms, you also combine that with the mental toll it has. That was my 10th concussion, and so when you get a lot of head knocks, you start doubting yourself on the field as well. So you combine a physical battle and a health battle with a mental battle, and it's tough combining those two. It's not fun, and it can be a pretty lonely space when you're trying to get through all that.
So have we reached a new era in concussion in sport? Are we starting to see change, and are we finally listening? Players are speaking up and they're calling it quits, and personal health and longevity